Hey!
Hi!
Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana.
And Money.
I am making or contemplating whether to just delete the whole TikTok app.
Why?
Because I feel like, I talked about it before, but I feel like I'm getting obsessed with it.
I would say this. Get a hobby. No.
You're not the person that said that to me.
No, as I'll explain. So, I worry about my screen time as well.
Yeah.
And I recently bought an embroidery kit.
Ooh.
Because basically, one of my goals this year is to make something, make an item of clothing. I like to make more items of clothing going forward because I feel like as we've talked about on this podcast before, like you go in the shop sometimes and you're like, what the hell even is this? And you kind of at this point in your life know what kind of things suit you and what things you like. So it's like, if I know I'm just gonna buy another pair of wide leg jeans, but I just learn to make them myself.
Yeah.
And then I can get them in whatever patterns I want.
That's true.
And I do love a pattern. So as part of that, I've also been thinking about embroidery because I really like embroidery, but like people don't really embroider stuff anymore.
No,
like it's very rare that you buy something from a shop and it's like embroidered. And in getting into it, like it's not that complicated. Like you just need to draw a shape and then you sew the shape. Yeah. And I've been working on my hand stitching, so I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get one of those rings.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But so I bought it, and like I'm immediately obsessed with it. And I've been doing it in the evening, like when I'm watching TV, when I would usually be on my phone.
Yeah.
And it just gives my hands something to do.
That's really good, okay.
And so it's really helpful. The only downside I would say is I sometimes find myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm in like the 1920s. Like just sitting in a chair embroidering, and then I just have a thought of like, I don't know, maybe if I say this is a hobby that I start now and I continue, like I'll be like a mother of two, and then what, my kid's gonna be 1920s kids now because I'm just like sitting and doing my embroidery and they're like, mother, may we have some more milk? No boys, you know, it's past your bedtime. And like all of our clothes are like handmade.
Oh my god, that's really so cute.
Everything. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to make my like baby's
clothes, yeah.
So,
or I would like to make something for them, just as like a monumental memento, excuse me, where it's like, this is something that your mom created. Yeah. You didn't fit into it.
Even if it's just like a blanket or like a patchwork thing. But on the flip side, there were lots of really interesting things I learned on TikTok.
That's true.
And so I'm not at a point where I'm ready to delete TikTok, but I'm definitely ready to reduce the amount of time I spend on there. Because sometimes I go on there and I'll watch a TikTok and I'm like, and this was useful to my life in what way?
Why? I think, because I mean, we both have like time limits on TikTok. Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes I had to actually adhere to it at points where I'm like, oh, well, TikTok's told me like I've only got 5 minutes left, or my phone has told me I've only got 5 minutes left, so it's time for me to wrap this up. And if I'm really busy in that day, I notice that of course I don't go on TikTok. I don't use my phone very much. My screen time is a lot lower, and it's actually really refreshing to see. So I think I probably need to go to that point where I'm limiting, like you said. But I was noticing this week I was on holiday, and I was on TikTok a lot, and maybe because it was a solo holiday, so it was just me, myself, and I, and maybe I was using TikTok as like a space to fill the quietness sometimes, which I know, like, there's a deeper thing beyond that where people do that, especially I think for people that live alone, like it's nice to have noise. And I was noticing that I was even starting to watch people's TikTok from the beginning of the year, and I was like, oh, now I've really gone down a deep dive of TikTok. Like, this is a lot. And then we're gonna talk about TikTok later because there was a phenomenon that if you don't know, you should know. Yeah. Where it was slightly different, but I enjoyed that experience because I didn't go on my FYP page the whole time I was watching Reesa Teesa. And even people start to comment on it. I think like part 37 of which we'll go into the Who the Fuck Did I Marry series. But that was really refreshing, and I enjoyed that aspect of TikTok versus the TikTok rabbit holes that I was going into where I was just like learning rubbish for the sake of rubbish. Yeah. Whereas you're right, there has been times, especially when I first got TikTok, where it felt really like educational, or I was learning something new, or something that I could talk in terms of like trivia that I could bring to a conversation later on. Whereas I feel like at the moment it's just been trash. But
yeah, there's more trash I think on there than there is good stuff. Yeah. And basically I will scroll if I see like 3 trash things in a
Yeah.
right. And when I say trash, I mean just like something that's like, this hasn't improved my life in any way. It hasn't moved the dial. It's not even funny in a way that's like, do you know what, that was really interesting, you're talented, like I'm off the I'm like, maybe I should come off the app. I think I'm trying to make it more of an active decision as opposed to like just the limit thing being like, time to come off, like, because then it's like I really have to spend an hour being like,
quickly scroll
rather
through.
than using my common sense, which is like, if you're scrolling and you haven't liked a single video, maybe
there's a problem.
Time to come off the app.
I saw literally today, I saw 2 creators doing the exact same type of video.
I've seen the same video like 4 times.
Back to back. And it's the Eddie, the guy who's basically shouting at everyone for eating anything in the supermarket, and people doing the exact same video where they were like in the supermarket and hearing his voice, and I was like, I just saw this.
It's unoriginal.
It's so unoriginal.
I've seen about 17 videos about Jeremy went out and thought he was being really clever because he left his tracking on his phone, but he'd actually forgot about his watch.
Love is Blind. We'll talk about that next in pop culture
Bloody
news.
hell, guys! I'm trying to work out the logic of, you see someone else's video and you go, I should do this.
Yeah, it's for clout. It's everyone wants to get the exact same thing.
It's just so gross.
Yeah.
Like, the point. Anyway, let me just stay out of it because I don't know what it's like to be a content maker. But it's like, after you see the scene in the video 4 times, do you think it has any? It's diluted.
Yeah.
Whoever's gonna like this are just simply people who somehow managed to miss the first 3.
But found yours.
So
yeah, that was my little reason of the week.
I was gonna say, I do think also sometimes when you've had just like a very stressful couple of weeks or a stressful day, decompressing with something like noisy like TikTok, it feels like a better come down than just going straight to like, I'm gonna play some classical music and do some embroidery. Like, it's quite hard. Yeah, do you know what I did yesterday? I watched a supercut of season 1 of Bad Girls Club, which is Natalie Nunn's season, where it was just basically all the fights. You
love that.
And I was like, but I got to the end of it, I was in bed and my heart is racing. I was like, why do you do this every single time? Because there's a part of my brain that's like, this is actually kind of relaxing. Yeah. Just watch people fight. But the other thing is, there's also part of my brain that's being like wound up. Yeah. So when I then get into my bed, it's like, why are you getting in the bed? And we need to watch 17 more videos, or we need to go outside and we need to get into it. And I'm like, no, bitch, we need to sleep. And it's like, oh, I feel like I'm taking the stress of my life and like trying to decompress by watching other people be stressed. And then like the next step is to watch something not stressful, but I don't do that. I just go, time for bed, and I'm just in bed like, so I think it's about trying to figure out how we decompress on a stressful day, because I think TikTok is a substitute for YouTube, which is a substitute for, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, there was something else that was here before.
It was TV.
And we just haven't figured out a way, because you're so right, what I can't do after a stressful day is put on a TV show that I hadn't already watched. No. I don't want any surprises.
No, I want something that's casual. I want something that's low vibration, just mush, rubbish.
Last weekend I watched Dead Waterfall. I've watched it before. I know.
I saw it. Yeah, I can't believe that. It was like,
I know it's gonna happen. So let me just. True. And also, the first time I watched it once. Yeah. This was like 2-3 years ago. Yeah. So actually, a part of it, I was like, I don't remember this. Really? That's nice. But I know the overall story. So it's like, there are no surprises.
Yeah, true. It was a good story. I mean, I remember when I watched it the first time, I was like, whoa. I was like shocked by like the ending. It was really good.
And David Tennant is in there. Yeah. You know. Radar again, but we'll come to that. Don't you worry about that. He hosted the BAFTAs.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. So shall we get on to?
Let's do it.
Pop culture news? Unless you have any other musings about how we can best decompress.
No, as I start to get my hobby, I will update them.
Yeah, let me know what your hobby is. And the hobby has to be something that's like not going for a run.
No, I know.
Because obviously exercise is already part. I assume exercise is already part of our lives.
That's the thing.
We want exercise.
That's the thing.
What's a way to like? I feel like the good thing about the embroidery is that my hands are busy. It's not too complex, and I can also watch the show and also do it.
That's true. My mom, like the reason why I said that you're the first person that told me that, it was like my mom also said that, oh, you need to get a hobby, something that use your hands with. Literally, she said that. Something that you can use your hands with because you're a very crazy
Maybe
person.
you become a pottery person.
I was thinking that could be potentially
buy
one.
holes in a kiln.
No, I think I'm gonna have to go and do classes.
Right,
My friend did do that. She did like a bunch of classes and she really enjoyed it.
Yeah, a friend of mine did that as well. I would like to do a pottery class, so let me know.
I know it's just like we do it.
Fun.
Is it? I know it's messy though.
That's alright. We can wash our hands.
Yeah.
They'll give you an apron and you can wash your
hands. I know,
afterwards.
it's true. I have done like pottery when I went on holiday like a couple of years ago, and it was really fun. But it was like they just brought little volunteers and you just did a few spinning like ooh, and that was it.
When I was younger, and I used to go to a play centre, they had a pottery wheel and a kiln. So sometimes I would just do that, but like very, very like occasional. Like basically when the play centre leaders were like could be asked to put the kiln on essentially, but. Yeah, it'd be nice to get into that again. Yeah,
I'm still thinking maybe it'd be like something like that or something like music in terms of like going back to like drumming, which I used to love.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm spitballing. I have not done any research.
I like that.
Yeah. And then the only other one is I did buy a camera. I've got a Casio camera, so I mean, and I did do a lot of photography while I was on holiday, and I really enjoyed it. So
I also recently, so not recently, when my sister moved to Ghana, I went into her room. She had to like tidy her bedroom, take stuff that she wanted, and she emptied out stuff that she didn't want. And she had a camera. I had a camera before, which I'd given to her, and then she lost, and then had this new camera. So I was like, "This is mine now." I don't have
good camera.
Yeah, it's like a proper like
DSLR.
camera. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, nice.
I need to buy a charger for it because there wasn't a charger with it. But I was like, maybe I'll get back into photography. Yeah, that's something I used to enjoy.
It's really. I mean, I really enjoy it. Like.
I love the moon, so I'd love to photograph her.
Yeah, when you see like the picture and all the colours that becoming as vivid as you see in your eyes, as you actually see it, it's so nice to see it. Like, I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I will keep you posted as the ways that I'm decompressing.
Yeah.
Not TikTok. If anything, TikTok should just supplement.
TikTok should be stuff that you can. I think the way I'm trying to use it in the present. Obviously, you're going to be scrolling past stuff that's like that's hilarious, blah, blah, whatever. But the only stuff I say was stuff that I can use in real life.
Agree. Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to do is like I want to work through these things that I've saved, like because I will save them and then never think about it again.
Yeah.
And like there's some of these places like some hair salons to go to if you've got natural hair, or like
restaurants to visit,
or like here is a way to like. If you want to get like a blowout, but you don't want to spend 18 hours blow drying your hair, like those are the only like I have so many hair videos saved. Like TikTok has, I will say the one thing that TikTok does that I like but also dislike is they figured out how much I am obsessed with hair, and so they will send me loads of videos. But some of those videos are like, my hair don't even look like this.
Yeah, true.
I'm not ever gonna do this. It's just nice to watch this woman do her hair, and some of them I'm like, I could actually
do this myself.
I could do this. Like I need to.
Yeah.
So
that's
what I like about it.
That's definitely the like benefit for it.
In the way that like on Twitter, people don't swap tips like this.
No, you don't get it. The only place I used to get it was YouTube. But the problem is, especially on the hair part, you get 20-minute review of how to do your hair when I just want it in 20 seconds or 2 minutes. But that's also worrying what TikTok has done, is because now I need to watch everything on 2 times speed. It's like nuts. The one thing like I'm also tired of watching, which I think is also led to my annoyance with it, is the whole like dating is terrible. I went on this day. I ordered this, and I hate Hinge and Hinge. Yeah, but people are suing Hinge, so.
There was a period where
you fell into that rabbit hole.
Yeah, as well, and I was like, oh, I have to stop watching these. It's not conducive.
It is. Honestly, you see on TikTok, then you watch your own reality TV shows, and then
you're expected to like try and date still in the world, but you're like, sorry,
where?
What good decision can I possibly make? How can I make that as in a good faith decision when I'm like 2 seconds ago you're just watching a video about a woman who got punched in the face by a guy she went on a date with? Doesn't make sense.
Speaking of,
let's
move on to pop culture news.
Let's do it!
Yeah. Okay, so pop culture wise, what do we start with?
Should we talk about the BAFTAs? Because it's
quite
quite brief. So the BAFTAs happened on Sunday.
Yeah.
They were hosted by David Tennant.
Yeah.
And I've probably said this on the podcast before because I feel very strongly about the way that these award shows should be hosted.
Yeah.
But actors who aren't comedians should not be hosting award shows. he tried his best, but that opening monologue was a slog to get through. I was just like, David Tennant is good at acting, but I wouldn't say he's necessarily charming.
You wouldn't. I mean, I think he has a bit of a pizzazz to him.
I feel like people keep forgetting that he married like his friend's 20-year-old daughter when he was 40. Everyone keeps acting like, oh yeah, he's so fun. No, he's a fucking creep. And that's okay. That's okay. They're still married. He brought her to the BAFTAs. They were looking at each other in the eyes, very nice. The point of the matter is, the jokes that he delivered were not funny.
Oh God.
To be fair, you could argue they would never have been funny if anyone
if a comedian was actually.
But I feel like the problem when you're an actor is you can't write your own jokes. One thing about Ricky Gervais is, even if you don't find the joke funny, he's written that joke to his voice. And that's the best that joke was going to be delivered. What business? Like, they were making jokes about, the strike, and like, the following joke was written by AI. Like, it's just God, did nothing else happen in the past year?
I mean, the strike did take up a good chunk of the year.
I know, but like, it feels still tense. Yeah. It didn't feel like, oh, we can all laugh about the strike. It felt like...
I feel like this... I mean, we don't want to go back and discuss the strike, but it never felt like it was like a complete, like, resolution.
No, it didn't feel like a win.
It didn't feel like a win on anyone's part. No. And I think that's why it kind of came and gone, and you're like, well, that was like 6-7 months of our lives that we won't get back, but then... Are we happy?
Are we happy?
I don't know.
Are we happy? We're apparently still fixated on this AI thing, so I guess we didn't make a decision.
I think it's gonna come back later. But the thing,
he brought his dog, but then obviously he couldn't take the dog on stage, so he like leaves it with who's that? Michael Sheen.
Oh, okay, yeah. Maybe they should do it together because they have a whole like bantery thing. They like
chemistry,
like a frenemy type of vibe. It
just felt very. I was just like, God, this sucks, dude. I think there was one single joke in there where I was like, that's quite clever.
Really?
I think everything I was just like, wrap this up. And I also think, why do we even need a host?
No, I don't
think
we do.
Why do we need a host?
I mean, to guide the show along, but if you get presenters who are other actors just to present the different awards.
Also, but that's the problem. You're barely on there because when it's time to announce awards, the announcers come out.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
But I do think you need someone to open the show. It's still an awards thing.
You
can't have a voice of a god being like...
The way every church service opens. Just do a hymn up top. Let's get into it.
I mean, they should...
They have the performance of all the people categories of who are best song for the year. So let them open the show and let's get into the bloody categories. I don't want to hear your take on what the last year's been. It's always the same boring ass shit. And also, let's not forget Barbie. First time... a toast. And then, now I'm going to make a joke about Barbie. I don't care
Barbie
about
has
this.
gone through the ringer.
I don't care about this. Please just do the categories.
Yeah, but the last time they tried to bring a musical act was, what's her name, DeBose.
And guess what? We couldn't stop talking about it, so she won.
She did actually.
Boring.
Yeah, do you know what?
I was only watching it.
It was so cringe.
We'll get another moment like... Angela Bassett did the
thing. That was so cringe. I mean, it's so...
So we got murder on the dance floor as if it was 2003 again. I was like, we're in hell.
I'll be honest, we're getting the comeback, the resurgence of the early 2000 queens. Like, Sophie Ellis-Bextor, Natasha Bedingfield with Unwritten from Anything But You.
She slaps though.
That was a great song. It's still a great song. And then I saw like Kylie Minogue getting a Grammy. Like
but she's got an album out. That's not the same as someone who hasn't made music in years coming back and being like, do you remember this?
But Mother and Dance Floor was a great track. Like a great hit. It should have been one. Not for being famous because of Barry Keoghan. Keoghan, sorry.
So I apologise to him if he's listening.
Shaking his ass and his, tail feather.
What else?
Wasn't that good of an
ass? What else?
I don't know. Wait, I just want to like. Let me take a photo. I don't know.
I mean, when you're naked, you've got an ass. Everyone's got an ass when they're naked because they're naked. But
all I remember is the outline.
The one thing we're not going to be saying about him at the end of his life was great ass. That's not going to happen.
Did you think it was better? Like, do you think he could have done more punches? Do you think it was a good ass or bad ass?
He needed to be in the gym. Sorry, I'm just saying that based on the people who've suddenly got butts out of nowhere. Yeah, apparently you need to be doing weight training, all of that stuff. I don't think it's fatty.
I think I would have been I don't think he needed the fatty. I think
he needed 2 plump.
No, I
Foo-foos,
think what was.
Two balls.
What was memorable about his performance was the fact that his peen kept on like shaking, and you could just kept on seeing the outline of it.
Personally, for me,
so that's
delete
to
the
me,
whole scene.
It wasn't needed.
Did you see him on the cover of Vanity Fair?
No, I saw the other actors.
He's at the end of that.
Oh, is he?
Guess what? Naked.
No. I'm
telling you, it's bizarre. I really feel like I can't wait for this like decade to be studied. Post the pandemic, we've kind of lost it. They're acting like this is the wildest thing that's ever happened.
I only saw the image of like Pedro Pascal just literally laughing his head off. In the interviews, he just could not stop laughing.
Yeah,
and he's actually adorable.
People have been tweeting about how Pedro Pascal and Common Domingo need to be in like a buddy cop.
Oh. Rom-com.
Same actually. I'd go for that. I don't mind.
I mean, if he was naked.
I love Common Domingo. And Pedro Pascal looks really good on the cover. I've been cooling on him because when everybody's like when everybody finds someone attractive, I don't find them attractive anymore. Sorry, I'm different. But he looks great on the cover. Actually, I was like, okay,
yeah, because
I'm back. I'm ready to get back on the wagon.
What, Pedro?
Yeah,
Pedro's always been fine.
Get onto the wagon.
So, because I said he's fine.
I don't want to date everyone's internet boyfriend. I want my own. I
did not know he had a naked one.
I just feel like, are we really acting like this is the best nude? This is the only nudity we've ever seen, and 2, this is the best nudity.
It looks like they've like photoshopped his like giving his butt some retouching. What the hell? The cheeks look retouched.
I'm telling you, baby.
Also, because this is the image I saw. So this is the image of.
But they can't put this in. They can't put his nudity in. I think it was just for the video.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I don't think it's in the mag. Maybe.
Okay, no. Yeah, because this is the image I saw. So
is he dressed? Is he in there at all?
Oh yeah, he is. He's dressed right at the end. Yeah,
I think that was just for the video.
That was for the video. Yeah, because and I think it's a great like cover. You have Pedro Domingo.
Does he look like dressed? I haven't seen it.
He looks okay dressed. I mean, he's not wearing a red suit or any other colour suit. It's a black and white suit. He looks great.
Yeah, he looks quite.
All the men look beautiful in this thing.
What I really love about the video is what's his name? The guy from Riverdale who's in
that guy.
But basically everyone else is in the frame. And when it gets to him and the guy who's in
Past Lives,
and she's also in Russian Doll.
Oh, is she? I need to watch Past
Lives. His head is cut off. He's so tall.
He is tall, yeah.
And I was like, damn.
He's also very good looking. He's very good looking. Yeah,
he's
very good looking.
Very handsome.
How old is he?
We didn't say anything distasteful. We just said he's very handsome.
Let me just. Oh, okay, that's the Hollywood issue. Okay, yeah, they've got the naked. Okay, what's this guy's name?
Something. I want to say Melon. No.
Melon what? Vanity Fair cover stars. Maybe cover stars. Anyway, he looks great.
He's in May December.
Yes, let me just do May December there. The thing that was cracking me up is that Pedro has just recovered from his arm thing, and so he's not actually moving one of his arms. It's actually very sweet. So he's laughing, but he's like, he gets his tail. Chris Melton. No, sorry, Charles Melton.
I was close.
You were close with Charles Melton. Yeah.
Oh, Melt.
He's 33, fam.
Okay, girl.
What?
I'm available.
What?
I'm available.
Hello. What the hell? I think men start to peak and get better with age around the 33 to plus mark.
I don't want to be this dude, but there are no hot guys in this country.
Fam, no.
We don't. Where would this man be living if he lived in the UK? Where would he be? He wouldn't.
Let me just guess. Somewhere in Surrey?
Baby. No variety.
No,
I'm sorry.
When I was on holiday, I was walking around and I was like, I mean, I wasn't like looking, but I was like, my eyes are open. There are a lot. Maybe because the sun was shining.
My eyelids are pinned back. Is how much my eyes are open.
And I was like, all the men are just better looking than any guys I've seen in London.
Maybe we've just got used to them. I don't know what it is, but they are not hot.
Do you know what? You will see Charles Melton in like Soho. Not
gay. telling you, the only good-looking men left in this country are gay.
I know there are men out there that are worthy.
Married. Anyway.
Available.
I'm just saying, like, we lack diversity.
I can't believe it's 33.
In our hot men, is all I'm saying.
No, we do.
Like, when Crazy Rich Asians came out and they're like introducing Henry Golding, I was like,
Hello?
where have you been hiding this
exactly.
guy?
Introducing.
He's not down my street, I'll tell you that for free.
But he's British.
He's not living on my road.
I mean, his family grew up in Singapore, so...
Yeah, like, see?
Singapore.
And I'm supposed to be out here eating the scraps. When apparently Singapore's got men to spare. America's got men to spare.
Maybe your man is not in this country. I feel like you said that. I feel like you said that.
Like, this country's not that big.
No.
There's an entire don't you think there's a whole world of men?
I know, there is a whole world.
I remember reading this thing, it was like, it's very, it's very, not patronising, it's very...
Limiting?
No, like prideful. I basically, I'll remember this word next week because I'll be really annoyed, but it's very prideful for you to think that the love of your life is living down the road from you in fucking Essex. Grow up. And I was like, they said something like, there are like 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
Why do you think your soulmate's living down the street from you in Essex? That's actually real.
It's real, but it would be so much easier.
100%.
For the convenience.
And equally, the book I'm reading at the moment about love was saying that, like, because they have a chapter where it's like, do you feel like it's hard to meet someone now, or there's too much choice?
Deserts.
And then they said the reason, like, the
Scarce.
difference between now and before is, like, you had to marry someone in your village because that was it. There was no, okay, maybe you get on the bus and you move to the village next door, but that's the length of it. You got to make a decision, and usually the decision you're making is, like, who's the lesser evil?
True.
Or who's the best of the bunch, right? And now we're sport for choice, and we're like, oh, the next one will be the one. And then you don't ever make any choice. We're in as bad a situation as our ancestors, but we're telling ourselves we're in a good situation because there's lots of... What they use is like, there's lots of choice, but there isn't a lot of options. I was like, damn, that's really so real.
That is real, and it's painful to think about it in that way.
And so, yeah, in a similar way, it's like, you're right. I'm now aware there are 8 billion people on the planet. That doesn't actually mean I'm going to eat meat.
No.
Eat all meat.
Yeah.
8 billion people.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, I'm going to meet the people that live near me, probably.
True.
For the entirety of my life. So there's no point in me saying, well, my dream man's in Singapore. Am I going to get up and go to Singapore? Because that's the only way I'm going to meet him.
Well, maybe.
Well,
I mean, London is a very popular city, so maybe you come down. Come on down.
Yeah, but then again, I'm not gambling on the idea that he's decided my wife's in London.
Yeah,
Let me hop on a plane, go London, see if she...
You know what we need to do? What happened in Coming to America? He brought out a map of America, spun it around and pointed at it going, my wife is in Queens. And that's the way it went.
I watched that film for such a long time. I really think I should.
Yeah.
I wonder if the jokes hold up.
I think some of them do. I mean it holds up better than the other one.
Eddie Murphy is pretending to be a Jewish man, so I don't...
Yeah.
But that barbershop, he's pretending to be every single character.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's equal opportunities. I
try off with that idea of just, how about if I play every single character?
I was like, we don't have enough money. The budget was limited, so they're like...
I wish we still had like, you should go next on Shay Shay's podcast.
Who?
Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, who?
Eddie Murphy. I'm so curious about him. Like, I don't know anything about him. Yeah. I would love to just know more about, like...
His life.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to get the expose aspect.
I don't think you need an expose.
Which I don't.
Who is this man?
Yeah, because we've had enough with What's His Face and What's
Her
Her Face.
I'd actually love him to come on here and be like, nothing bad happened to me like those two. I'm just here to talk about what my experience has been like.
Which I think you get from Eddie Murphy. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to be out here revealing about the industry because he's still in the industry.
I think he probably did have very different experiences then because he was the headliner in a lot of situations.
That is very
right?
true. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, anyway, we're so off topic. What were we talking about? Yes, the BAFTAs. Oppenheimer won.
Okay.
Best film.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy won Best Actor.
Nice.
What's her name? She was in The Idol. I've forgotten her name.
Not Divine.
Yeah.
Oh, did she? Oh, she won for Holdovers.
Yeah, she won for Holdovers Best Supporting Actress.
I really can't wait until the Holdovers come onto a streaming site because I don't think I'm going to go to watch it in the cinema.
I think I might have missed it even.
Yeah.
That's the annoying thing.
But I really would love to see it because, she's doing amazing.
And the show won Best Actress.
Okay, so she's probably going to win the Oscar.
And Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor for Oppenheimer. Nice. I like his speech. I think
I do love
Robert Downey Jr. could host an award show.
He does because he has the charisma.
Yeah, you need it.
He has so much charisma. He is. I have a soft spot for Robert Downey Jr.
We know.
Why can't I say
it's
I
so interesting because that man used to be a crackhead. It's
just
an interesting choice for you.
We spoke about off pod. We talked about the type of guys out there that who are you willing to go for? Because
at this point,
at certain points, there are men that have gone through it in life. Some men that are a bit unhinged, and some men that are gay. So which men are you? Were gay, and some men who are wifed up. So who do you want to go with? And I said, I didn't make the choice. But Robert Downey Jr. is a great example of someone who redeemed
was crazy. Is that why you're putting him into the crazy part?
I don't unhinge. He went through stuff.
Yeah,
he went through life. So yeah. I think, and he came out the other side.
I like that though.
I like that for him too.
Like that. No, and I like that for you.
Yeah.
I like that you're being, open and not being like...
And he's actually short as well, so...
Do you think if your man had been, like, if everyone was like, where did you find him? He's so, like, how are you lucky enough to find this dream? Would you be like, oh, he was basically cracking from the ages to 21? Would you say, or would you not say?
I would... probably say that we met on Hinge, and then I think what we're end up having. I would say like it's his story to tell, and so I would let him tell the story. But I'll be like,
what if he's very in a Robert Downey Jr. way? He's like, yeah, I used to do cocaine every day.
Then I'll be like, honey, elaborate.
And then you can do cocaine every day. What? And then say what time?
No, I mean elaborate beyond what. Like you talk about the route. Now, you talk about what happened. Now, how did you get yourself through that? What was the redemption story?
Rehab.
America loves a comeback story. Okay.
Yeah.
He went to rehab,
and I decided I didn't want to be addicted to cocaine anymore.
It was actually his wife that got him out, like really through it.
I would say rock bottom was when I was selling my body for cocaine.
Honey, you don't have to elaborate that much. Basically, just give one sentence about where you've been and then where you came from and where you're going and how you've gone through it.
I kind of do feel you might do well with someone who has a bit of an edge to them in that sense. Like that. Not, I wouldn't say to the point where they when they were addicted to cocaine, but I mean like someone who's already lived and has come out the other side and was like, that was an experience. Anyway, the things that are important to me now is being a good husband, taking care of my wife, eating a salad. Those are my favourite things to do.
I mean...
Watching my kids ride a bike.
I never
and not doing cocaine anymore.
I never thought about it that way, but I do think... And I've always kind of said... my preference is to be with someone who's older. I think I've said it before, but I don't want a fixer-upper. Like, I am a little bit... too old
He's off
for
that. Cocaine is what you want. He needs to have been off it.
Yeah, he needs to be 100% off it. And I'm not here to be a fixer-ho. I'm not AD. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to that man. I do not know those type of people. No, those type of people.
Damn.
I don't want...
Drug addicts?
No.
That's a human being.
No.
Wow.
I'm trying to say like, I'm not a fixer-ho. I'm someone that I would want you to have... If you're going to experience life, experience your life before me and come out the other side, and you have your priorities set straight, and I would prefer you to have had that through experience. Probably not the crackhead aspect, but for you to have gone through life so that when we do go through struggles as a couple, you know how to handle it. So yeah, maybe you're not far off. Maybe that's not a bad thing that I like Robert Downey Jr. But he's also cute and he has great charisma. He's arrogant as hell, and I think that's why I also like him.
He has great charisma. He has great delivery. He kind of knows what his shtick is, what works for him. I feel like David Tennant does not know that, so he just came there, was doing all these different types of pick one. Humor is. I just don't. Yeah. It felt very good, clean fun in a way that I was just like, but it didn't even match the outfit he was wearing. Like you're wearing like a. Like a sort of like edgy kilt.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, so just lean into the fact that you're Scottish and you're overalls. Like, why do you have what is going on here?
I mean, it's weird because when he was in Doctor Who, which I know is a bad reference, but he had a lot of charisma and like I felt like he had that kind of vibe to him. So why didn't it translate?
Because that's Doctor Who. Sorry. What the hell?
But sometimes I do think with some of these actors, like, okay, going back to Robbie Downey Jr.
Why don't they get like a Graham, the guy at Post program?
Yeah, Graham, they should have.
And also, I feel like the other thing is, David Tennant doesn't necessarily have a rapport with any other actors.
Apart from Michael Sheen.
Yeah, exactly. Apart from people he's worked with.
Yeah, true.
What you want is the person who's then making like little jibes at, like, about the films that have won. No, some of those actors, so that like, there is like if you're my boy, even if you're making a shit joke about me, I'll probably be like,
like,
I'm gonna give him something. Yeah, that's my boy. Clap for him.
Yeah,
not everybody just be like,
oh god.
Like, I just feel like the crowd is always so weird. I think they act like they're like, why are you here? Like, they're acting like to the host, why are you here? But it's like, also, bitch, why are you here? You ain't gonna win.
It's definitely a British thing. Like, you don't get this with American awards shows. That being said, David Tennant would never host an American awards show.
You don't get that, but didn't Will Smith slap someone at an award show?
I mean, it made it interesting.
We're never gonna be able to live that down.
No, never ever. I'm so sorry.
We're gonna be 68 years old telling our kids, you know what time somebody slapped the host? All right, Nana, get out of it.
Oh, can you imagine if they get Will Smith to host? Will Smith has that charisma. He could carry a show.
Well, he used to, I don't know, he still does.
Yeah. Oh. But anyway,
so
congrats to all the winners.
Yeah, congrats to all the winners. It's quite underwhelming, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Io was there.
Yeah.
In a beautiful peach dress, which I want to talk about simply because I don't think I can wear that colour, but then she wore that colour and I was like, maybe I can wear this colour, so thank you.
Yeah.
This is not hard work you're doing.
Yeah,
also, she met Prince William.
I was going to say, the photo of her, like, Prince William apparently laughing his ass off.
Sorry, why was he... I know this...
There's so many questions.
I don't want to be judgmental. But isn't your dad sick? Go home. Is your wife sick? Go home, bruv. What the hell?
Don't drag the whole Prince, fam.
Go to your house.
No, I said, to me, it's very worrying.
Your man's like, I'm going to the club.
It's very worrying. Pimp has been said about her. Pimp. Nothing, not one thing has been said about her. Apart from she's been in hospital and she's come out.
What was he doing at the BAFTAs? Is he in a film?
I think that's the whole like royal.
Has he paid for a film?
The royal representation, and Harry's not there. Like that would have been a perfect thing for Harry and Meghan to go to, but they're not part of the family.
I'm so sorry. I don't work in the industry because I want to be William.
No, William. I mean, you could tell by Io's face. Io's face was like, huh?
It's because he said to the girl who won for Rising Star.
Yeah.
She was in a film called How to Have Sex, which is about sexual assault, and he said to her, "Oh, that film seemed very fun to make." Clearly hadn't seen the film. That's why everyone's staring at him like the one where the woman gets raped.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like, or you could have just been at home and we could have avoided this entire gap. I don't get why you think anybody came here to meet you.
I'm not saying anything about the royal family. It's just the out of touchness is just wild.
I just feel like what I'm more and more aware of as time goes on, like, we don't need these people. And so whenever they insist on popping up, being around, it's like, you could just be at home.
Yeah. Making
the money that you make without popping up. Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We simply don't care. We would have lived our entire lives. Like, we don't need them. We won't get to vote on this, but if there's ever a referendum, I'm going to get on my soapbox. Why on earth are we paying for these people? They are regular ass people. If they weren't regular ass people, they wouldn't be going bald. Why am I giving money to these people? You can't even go Turkey. Do something about it. Like, come on.
Don't try that.
We've got to look at you every time you come on TV.
I know.
I
think you should shave the whole thing off. There's two sideburns and just not working.
I'm being flippant, but I do genuinely believe we should not be paying. We should not work and have our taxes go to a family that don't do nothing for us. When was the last time the royals came to your house, helped you with anything?
They never will.
Exactly. I'd rather give my money to someone who's actually going to help me. Give it to the doctors.
Yeah,
give it to the nurses.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it to that family to sit on their fucking asses. They should at this point have enough money to support themselves. They've been rich for years.
They have more than enough. More than enough.
You're holding on to all these jewels from Africa and India and the Caribbean. Sell them!
No, give them back. Give them back.
No, at this point, you clearly need the money.
No, I mean...
Sell them and let us live our lives.
Give them back and then
I actually feel like legally, if you're a person of colour, you shouldn't have to even support the royal family. That's reparations. About... You have to tick on your tax return. I'm black, and they're like, okay, you don't have to pay the tax. Why on earth am I paying for this? You raped and pillaged my country, and now you're raping and pillaging my salary. I didn't ask for this. I'm sorry.
Fam, I did not realise you were going to get this deep.
I hate the fact that we pay for this family. I'm sorry.
Don't get me wrong. Like, no, it does. Like,
I don't like paying taxes at the best of times.
When you see the breakdown on the wealth, you're like, huh?
What I don't understand is like generational wealth. Everyone is always talking about generational wealth. You guys have been rich for decades, eons. You still need money from me. Does that make sense?
It's wild. Family.
Spend your money properly. Anyway,
okay, we're gonna move on.
This is not the length of time this is read on this.
Sorrows, prayers.
Yeah, look after yourselves, isn't it?
We are gonna move on to Reesa Teesa.
Let's go on to Reesa Teesa.
So, Reesa Teesa is a creator on TikTok. I know I've talked about it at the beginning of the pod that I am going to delete TikTok, but I'm very grateful I didn't delete it before I listened to this series. I end up sending it to you, going, if you got,
because you're gonna be like,
like if you got a couple of hours to spare, you need to listen to this. And also, my sister's also was watching it as well while at work and trying to hide her headphones, and she can listen to it. So Reesa Teesa is a creator on TikTok. I think she was just a kind of a small creator before all this happened, and she started a 52 part, actually, to be exact.
Because she was doing little recaps.
We can talk about it. For clarification, for questions. A 50-part series called Who the Fuck Did I Marry? And it just started off with her just telling the story of how she met her ex-husband. And it was one of the most compelling things that I've watched on TikTok in the whole time I've downloaded it. In the space of a couple of weeks, she has now got to, I think, almost 500,000 or 1 million followers. Sorry, I'm going to double check.
It's the first time I've ever watched a series of videos where almost every video has like 100 likes.
Exactly, yeah. It was
52 parts is a lot of parts.
It's a lot.
And every single one has at the very least like somewhere between 70 to 150,000 likes.
Sorry, let me correct myself. She's 2.7 million followers. This, on her every video, is got almost more than 1 mil. One thing that I have to say, like, we could give you the summary. The big summary, the big overall is her husband was a pathological liar. Yeah,
I feel like that's what you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Want to know the details?
Go and watch it. The guy's pathological liar. He lied about every single thing. They met just before the pandemic.
Yeah,
within a month,
literally.
He moved into her house, and then he was promising her the world. He paid for her bills. He tried to buy a house.
The whole story is so
it's so wild, and there's so many lessons from the story itself. There's so many things that happened since then. So many lessons that to be learned. One was the speed of their relationship, which the
pandemic. I feel
that's
like
the thing is it was
the pandemic obviously played a massive role.
Yeah.
In this story. And perhaps if there hadn't been a pandemic, there would have been a bit more attention to detail. But equally, there's a big turning point. And we talked about this in our group chat when with my colleagues at work.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we found really contentious was the point where really early on she realises he's lying about the house that he's bought, and she goes, "I just decided not to bring it up to him." And we were like, so my male colleague was like, that is proof that she's a fool. And I said, no, I think what's much more interesting about her as a character, and obviously people are talking about adapting it and making it a parody film. Actually, a writer-producer that I know reached out to her on TikTok.
Oh, really?
And recorded it. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I will get into that later. But I think that something she said, which I think a lot of people go, oh yeah, okay, I get that, but they don't really understand the power of it. When she said, I decided, the reason why I turned a blind eye to that is because I decided it's my turn.
Yeah.
I want to be married.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that is what is much more interesting because that's what's propelling her to go, to skate past these red flags. The red flags are hitting her in the face. She's moving them out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm going full speed towards what I want because I want it. You said I've been waiting too long. This must be
my turn.
I'm going to take it.
God promised me. And
which is crazy.
It is crazy.
Because if you've waited that long, and this is something we talk about in our group of friends, if you wait that long, why would you go, okay, this one that's clearly problematic, this is the thing I'm going to choose?
Yeah, it's hard because, there is a lot of layers to it. The key thing about this is my time. It's something that probably a lot of women have faced.
Yeah.
Where like, oh, I've been searching and looking for so long for love and looking so long for a man and, a partner, and I have all these dreams and God's promised me that I will get married and have children, but where is he? Or I've had these past relationships and it's not worked out, and it's like, when is it going to finally happen? And this guy seems on paper to like me and we seem to connect, and he's really told me on our first date that I'm his wife. So all these signs, it has to be. And I think a lot of women have fallen into that trap, and a lot of women that did speak up after the 50 part series came out talks about the fact that they can relate to her situation. So I feel like it's not foolishness. That being said, there was a lot of red flags.
It's deliberate.
It felt
sort of like,
it's like we're gonna get through this because my family has gone through hard. Like, I've never seen easy love. So if I've never seen easy love, this is what this relationship has to be about. It has to be hard. This is just part of our relationship, our love story.
A very extreme version. But like, so many people apologise for doing this because I would find this really annoying. Basically, so many people said after World War II, people who supported the Nazis went, yeah, I kind of knew it was off, but Jesus, like, what was we supposed to do? It's giving very that. Again, this is obviously that's much more extreme, but it's almost the same kind of thought process of like, I'm going to look the other way. Yeah. And that's how that thing starts, isn't it? Oh, okay, it's kind of weird that we're smashing up all the Jewish people's houses, but I'm going to look the other way. And then it turns into concentration camps. She was, and that's exactly the escalation of her story. Yeah. He told her, I've bought a house. You've now called the agent. The person said, your man did not buy the house.
You have no proof of funds,
He's gone back in the room and said to him, so you bought the house, Shay? He's like, yeah. So you can't even act like he was confused. He's actively lying to you. Yeah. And she said, okay.
I have to be honest. So
let him go back to her later and be like, oh no, the cell fell through.
No, because she's like, oh, I'm going to give him a way out. I'm like, oh, don't worry.
Why?
It's just thing. That's the thing.
And I feel like everybody always gets on their house. Could never be me. I simply am too curious of a person to know that you're lying. Yeah. And not be like, why? Why are you doing this? Like, I would understand. Like, for me, my version of that story is he was like to me, oh, the name that they said, like, you'd have to tell me a really good ass reason why you lied. Is the only way you could keep me going, because I just can't imagine I wouldn't ask you. If I knew that he was lying, I can't imagine being like, anyway, that's none of my business.
No, the way I will become like Inspector Gadget, I'll be just detective.
That's none of my business.
Yeah, I will be asking, because that's also my money. That's like, oh, actually no, he was going to pay for it.
He was paying for it.
And I think that's another thing about it that was quite interesting.
But it was still a decision that we were both going to make.
Exactly.
And also equally, even if it's got nothing to do with me, why are you lying about buying a house?
Because if you can lie about this, what else are you lying about?
So, the next time you say you're buying a house, I would never trust you.
No.
I'm like, but you lied about that. But
which is what ended up happening. She was like, I have to be involved in the process moving forward.
Actually, no. That was not the first thing she said. She let him do it again.
Oh, crap. And then, yeah.
And then she was like, going forward, I want to be involved in the process.
House, yeah. Oh, yeah, because of the friend. I think...
Goofy.
Yeah, I mean... and we have talked about this off the pod. One thing that she also really loved about him, and she said it quite a few times throughout the series, was the whole idea of like, this guy is looking after me. He's paying all my bills. He's paying for all this. The idea that this guy is going to come in, sweep in and buy a £750,000 £1 million house, or dollar house, sorry. And he's going to like buy the car of my dreams and take me on my dream holiday, and I will not have to think about it financially. The idea of having that weight being off my shoulders is something that she desperately wanted, and like it was something that
again, for what reason? She paid her own bills.
That's the thing, and
I would understand if this woman was like, I was struggling every month,
but she wasn't. She's
paying her own bills.
No,
just fine.
And that was the thing. I was like, but I think it's
he
the
came
whole
to live with her.
That's the thing. It's a hyper independent, and we were talking about that. You know, when you are so hyper independent, the fact that it can feel easy to relinquish the pressure and the weight and the control to someone else. There is a freeing feeling to it. However, you need to be very careful who you're putting your eggs,
quite your eggs literally in some cases, because he got her pregnant.
Yeah, he did, and
let him at least fertilize one of your eggs in your basket.
Yeah, I felt really like when he got to that part, I was secretly hoping that she didn't have the baby. Same. And I felt so bad to think that. And then when she said, oh, she miscarried, I said, I don't want to be mean, but the fact that you call this seriously, the fact that I married, and I know from what you're saying, it's not going to end up
Somebody
good.
Said in the comments, God knew that he wasn't for you.
Well, God knew
about the baby.
Yeah, no. God knew that he wasn't for you when he blew your tire out before your first date.
Yeah, people said that as well. I feel like I just felt like the whole thing was a testament to the power of I've decided this is me, and I'm taking this by hook or by crook, by force. I have a friend who was like, I've decided I will be married by the time she's 28. Just when that makes sense. It was just when we were getting into the pandemic, and the year before, she had met this guy and started dating him. Yeah. They were together for a year. He proposed to her. Literally a month after he proposed to her, he cheated on her. So I was like, well, I guess you guys are done. I was like, no, I'm over it. Yeah. I was like, it's not been that long. She's like, no, he said sorry. Just like, I mean, we're in love and that's the most important thing. Meanwhile, I'm telling you, a year before she set herself the deadline, if I'm not married in a year,
what's happened?
She married this man. Honestly, I don't want to say something that is a lie. I like both of them, and I think that they could and do make each other happy. But post getting married, some of the situations she told me about, I was like, if you had not rushed into this situation and got married and had a kid with this man before you knew him, you wouldn't now be stuck trying to solve a situation that is not yours to solve. Yeah. Like, he was not ready to be in a committed relationship. And honestly, based on the way that you have responded to some of the situations, you weren't ready.
That's very tough. It's very tough to think about.
All because you decided it's my time.
It's my turn. I think, as a Christian girly here, there was like a couple of lessons that came through with Reesa, Teesa. One was from a Bible verse. Not to preach. Proverbs.
Go ahead, sis.
I think I was waiting.
Everybody bow your heads.
Let me make sure I get the Bible right. The Bible verse right. I think I was going to say Proverbs 3:5 verse 6, but I may be wrong. So let me get it right. Yeah, that's right. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Actually, I'll read the whole thing because it's 5-8. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. It's highlighted in my Bible, but the first part is probably the main part that I kept on thinking about, because she also mentioned it, as she said, like, it's so hard to trust. It's something that I know that I have to work on daily, but it is so much sweeter to trust in God, because when you do try and lean into your own understanding, you become blinded, fam.
The problem is, but even to that point, there was no understanding.
There was no understanding. Yeah, that's the thing.
What was it that she saw about this guy that she said she should marry him, other than, he's decided he's going to pay my bills?
Maybe for her, like, that was his type. Because after the series got released, a TikToker doing the FBI work released a picture and his details online, which, a lot of people were actually saying she shouldn't have done that.
How do they know it wasn't the twin?
Fam, you don't know. Well, the guys come out and talk and you realise it's Legion. Legion meaning a bunch of demons. Yeah. It's just wild.
But in the comments, so basically she's like, let's say from now on I'm just going to call him Legion. Someone in the comments was like, hold on a second, Legion? Like in the Bible? I was like, she's done this on purpose.
Yeah, of course, fam.
Not Legion.
No, come on. So there's that aspect. Like,
but that was funny.
Well, yeah, that was funny because I didn't know what Legion meant, and then the comments are like part of the story as well, and they were like, "You mean demons, bruh? This is serious." But you know, the fact that when you do trust in God, I know it's the hardest thing to relinquish that control and be like, God, when is going to be my time? But knowing that He has such a greater plan for you than some of the situations you put in your own strength, it makes it so much sweeter, basically, when it is done by God, not by man or by yourself. And then the second thing I kept on thinking was like, and I've thought, what?
I just want to let the listeners know the preaching is finished.
The preaching is done now. The second thing is, and I've heard this quite a few times, and I've thought about it as well, like, sometimes people put a downside or make it feel like, oh, being single is like a curse.
Yeah.
And when you hear these type of stories, I thank God for being single, because I'm like, I would rather be single than to sit and live in this emotional manipulation that this woman was put through for only a year. Some people are living this day in, day out now in marriages that are decades old. But she only experienced this for a year or a year and a bit.
Very crazy year.
And
but yeah.
But she said that her life will never be the same. I mean, of course, her life will now never be the same. And maybe in a twisted way, this was supposed to happen, because I do think she's going to help other women. Mm-hmm. Like, I definitely feel that she has.
She said she wanted to tell the story.
Exactly. Now, you know, she's got a massive amount of exposure. She's, you know, her following has blown up. She's become very viral. She's made a lot of money. Well, people are trying to count her coins, but apparently she's probably made a lot of money from this series. And she's going to be able to go to London and Paris and get her, you know, all those really sweet things that she wanted. Blah, 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 blah. But I think sometimes you have to go through the valleys. Sometimes you have to go through the valleys, and there is going to be, you know, God will take you and bring you through these kind of issues, even though you've brought them and caused them yourself. He will find a way out for you, but sometimes you have to learn the lesson, and she's learned her lesson deep down, and she's probably, as she said, that she's struggling with trust now. But I'm praying for her that, you know, she will be able to rebuild the trust for herself, because I think half of it is trusting yourself that you actually are able to pick the right person. And also trust in God that it may not be the time that she wants based on her timeline, but there will be a guy out there who will treat her the way that she wants, that will buy her the BMW S5 series with the cognac interior. But, you know,
going back to what we was talking about before the pod.
Yeah.
Your man is not a man, like, this perfect example. She looked at him and he said, oh, he's got money.
Yeah.
She didn't take the time to figure out, is this a person who's kind?
Yeah.
Is this a person who is understanding? Is this a person who is patient?
Yeah.
She said, I see dollar signs.
Yeah.
And he wants to buy a house and I want to buy a house. And he wants to have kids and I want to have kids. And he wants to get married.
Yeah.
These are not material things, but like, these are things that you can...
You can get them later on, but
or you can even compromise on. What you can't compromise on is,
yeah.
are you a pathological liar? We can figure it out.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
And I need to know that up top. And what was mad was the man told you, I'm a liar, and you went,
nah.
But he's probably not a pathological liar. Cut to, turn out everything that man ever told you was a lie. And down to, and I would love to, him, he's never going to be honest, he can't, because he's a pathological liar, but him having phone calls with family members that are dead. Who were you talking to? What if you weren't talking? You was really sitting there going, yeah.
Fam,
alright, yeah, I'll tell her.
No, that's
honestly, you guys. Oh,
acting.
Yeah.
The acting.
Alright then.
I think the darkest one was the stepdaughter saying that she had died. That was dark. What reason?
Just for me to be like, oh, I feel bad for you. Oh no. It was, let's give $2,000.
Yes, where'd that money go?
Where'd money go in?
Because I'll be honest, as she was going through the series, I was expecting the story to end up being he would ask her for money.
Yeah, I thought like that's what the house scam would be if they would manage to nail down a house. Was that he would go, oh, for some reason they're not accepting my funds thing. You put your.
Yeah.
He was I thought he was setting her up for. I would love to know what was the aim, because at one point she asked him, why did you marry me? And he says, because I thought you would lose interest if I didn't. But But he never said because I found you attractive, because I was in love with you, because you're the. So I honestly, genuinely, at the heart of this, why did he pursue her?
I think
just so he could get a roof over his head.
Yeah, I think half of it was
he must be living in the car.
I think he was. I think he was either looking for innkeeper, or he liked the thrill. Like she said it, he liked the thrill of getting her hopes up, knowing that it won't happen. Like I think, and we've met liars in our time.
Everybody's met
where people know that sometimes when you lie and try and tell people things that they want to hear, there is a thrill you get because you know the other person's gonna be like excited or happy, or you see the demeanor change. Yeah, and maybe he just got off that, but everything is wild.
I feel like you're right. That was part of it. Was that surely he was like I felt like the story at the end was going to be that he said, I kind of just decided to be whatever you thought your dream man was. I knew I was never going to be that guy. But I liked selling I liked how happy it made you to think that you'd found that guy.
And also the twin was living the life he probably would have wanted. He was the VP. He was that,
I mean, the problem is, there's a version of this, like, we can quickly touch on the idea of adapting it before we move on to the next topic, but like, there is a version of this that's like a Lifetime movie. Yeah. That's just like tacky and like, of course there's a twin involved. One of them's an evil twin, one of them's a good twin, like, eye roll. Then there's a Tyler Perry version that I probably wouldn't watch. Then there's a slightly more like sophisticated, like, Ryan Murphy Netflix series version. Yeah. The only problem I would say with adapting it, as I was listening to it, is like, there's too much house stuff.
Yeah, true.
It's the same beat over and over.
Yeah, it's not.
We need to escalate this. If this is a story, you're escalating. And what is a good escalation is when he says he's booking a trip and then they never manage to go on the trip. True. But that's like once. What you want is for like the house where she figures out he's lying. A second house that falls through. Because the second house, they went and bought furniture for it.
Yeah, fam. That was wild.
Knowing full well I was never going to move in there. Yeah. The third house, she was like, I'm going to get my own realtor involved. Then it fell through because he wouldn't show his proof of funds. Then he went and got another realtor, and it's like, how are you, as an adult woman, knowing he lied the first time, not connecting the dots? No. Oh, and to be fair, he really went out of his way to lie to her. He's like, here's a picture of my account. Yeah. I've got money in it. Here's a letter from
Chase Bank.
Chase Bank offering me a $700,000 loan. And she went, that seems legit to me. Yeah. But from when you knew he lied the first time, nothing he showed, it couldn't. This is what I mean. It couldn't be me. You can't lie doing that big a lie to me and then be showing me anything in future that I'm not double, triple, quadruple checking. You're a liar. It's
absolutely,
You lie.
Sorry. Like the song, you lie.
Why are you always lying? Literally, I can't take you seriously.
Always lie.
Literally. And then we're acting like it's cute. And it's fine if we're not husband and wife. But if you're just some person in my circle who lies, it's like, LOL, she loves lie, or he loves lie. Not you live in my house, you sleep in my bed, and I don't know who you are.
And he bought her an engagement ring, but it was fake, as expected, because she said it had nickel in it. And this was after the story, she did it live. It had nickel in it, and she was allergic to nickel, and that's how she found out.
Sorry, even after the fact when she found out he was literally going to weekend jail, she asked him, he said, I don't have a criminal record. God, Jesus. At this point, lose my number. You're sick.
So the thing, and then, going back to the 2 points I had, maybe I'll talk about the adaptation first. On the adaptation, because I know you're talking about the drama, and a lot of people, TikTok, the FBI works fast, but TikTok works faster.
She actually, but to be fair, she had asked that no one did that, so it was kind of like
that was bad. That was
this
bad.
This is the problem when you tell a story for anything
and she gave a lot of detail. She gave enough detail for people were able to piece together.
Yeah, but equally, you don't have control. I feel like that's the thing. You don't have control over your story anymore once you go public with it. 100%. She said explicitly, do not do this. Even if I give you details, I'll ask you not to do this. And then people said, I don't give a heck, I'm doing it.
Yeah. So that's that. And then when I say that showrunners and marketeers work fast, but TikTok work faster. I was laughing at the film posters, the show posters, the casting announcements, the casting people that they would get. Just got for Reesa Teesa, I think was a great shout. Oh. Yeah, and there was another guy that they got for Legion. I think that's a good shout. My thing and my question was, we're talking about adapting it for a scripted format. But what about documentary?
I think you need him.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're just going to get what we got on TikTok.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So you have to be like, what's the documentary giving us that we don't already have access to? And it's him.
And that's true. You need his side. Yeah. But I think also, and the family as well, his family.
Yeah.
But I also was thinking, what if they made the show similar to Catfish, where they are trying, Reesa Teesa is trying to find other pathological liars with, helping other wives or women find their pathological liars.
That could be fun.
And because Catfish, for instance, started off as a documentary, and then he made the TV show from it. And I think there is something about it, especially if you go back to the original purpose of what the series was, is to expose. No, it was trust your gut. Trust your gut. You trust your gut. Yeah.
Something's up in your relationship. Trust your gut, because it probably is.
To help other women not fall into the same trap that she did. Which when I watch TikTok, especially when I hear those the bad date stories. This is before Reesa Teesa, and they'll be talking for about 3 minutes about a bad date that happened. As they're talking, I'm already counting the mistakes they made before they even get to the big issue. I'm like, oh, we met about 10 p.m. Mistake 1. Oh, he didn't book anywhere. He only told me where we were supposed to go half an hour before. Mistake 2. This is when I'm watching the TikTok thing. When I'm watching Reesa Teesa, she's made mistakes from the part 1, from minute 1 of part 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my other thing. Is everyone's talking about scripted, which I think would be really cool, and I would love a Lifetime, or I don't know if even Netflix will take this, or Prime, but I would love to see, if we don't get it in scripted, could we get it in a more unscripted form? Or maybe this is an opportunity for TikTok to actually jump into that space, because they have yet to do it, and they're desperate to do it.
TikTok could carve out a space in the market where anything that goes viral on there that's a sort of, because I guess you would call this a sort of crime.
It's a true crime.
He literally is a criminal.
Yeah.
Goes straight into you call it, make it an anthology series, so you're not having to revisit stuff, and it's an hour and a half on each of those things, because there's lots of things that have happened. Not this, but Couch Guy. Do you remember Couch Guy?
Mm-mm.
So basically, during the pandemic, or maybe just afterwards, this girl went to visit her boyfriend in university. And the video is clearly one of his friends who she's told she's coming is filming. There's a knock on the door, they open the door, she comes in bags, walks in, and it's hey, and her partner's he sat on a sofa next to 2 girls. Yeah. One of the girls very distinctively moves away from him, so was sat closer to him, and he is very slow to get up and be it's given what you doing here.
Oh my god. Okay.
They then came out, the couple in question came out and he was just surprised, which honestly you could read the video that way of I'm really struggling. Is it really you? But when I tell you TikTok, we're no, this man is cheating on this woman. Making slowed down versions of the video, zooming into all of these things, play it back from the beginning. It was everywhere.
Oh, I never saw this.
And what you could do, an interesting thing where you go, you have this episode where okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this Couch Guy mystery. Was he or was he not cheating on his girlfriend?
That's quite interesting,
stuff like that where, the problem is it might struggle to travel. It might... The reason why those things are so prolific on TikTok is, like you said, because these are brief.
Yeah, it's just
videos. Before you've watched 17 videos about Couch Guy, and now you're in it.
Yeah,
I'm in Couch Guy TikTok, or I'm in this TikTok. People talk about that all the time, and maybe even watching 17 Couch Guy videos at a minute long does not make a documentary.
No.
So, am I really going to sit through an hour and a half of this, or even an hour or half an hour? Obviously, I'm saying, that's not the right example, because probably you want to focus on crime, because that has, 2 audiences. It will have the TikTok audience, but also have people who just love true crime. But, being able to find stories that, the other thing, I don't know, there's a lot, because I could talk about this and, media and the different ways in which we consume stuff. But I don't know if you ever heard there was a mass killing anyway. A group of roommates in a house in America, a student house, were killed.
I heard about it, and there was a random guy that just came in.
He was actually a PhD student at their university.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, when the bodies were found, people were on TikTok being like, we're going to solve this.
Yeah.
And they were pulling names of people that could be getting real people in trouble. Over, like, analysing, like, being like, here's a picture of this, like, really trying to sleuth it. And in the end, it's like, you guys actually probably did more damage than you did good, because the person who got caught, you weren't onto at all. But what was interesting is, one, I hadn't heard about the case, so it's like, on the one hand, you're promoting a case that really maybe there is someone on here who might know something that could be helpful. But also, because of the rapid nature of the way that these videos are made, the fact they're made by people who aren't journalists, the fact they're made by people who are just like, oh, I saw one thing, so let me just hop on here and say it. Like, you are also creating a very specific kind of media, which is like, none of this is verifiable. Yeah. It's just like who made content quickly enough to get out.
True. And I think that's the whole, like, the downside of UGC, which is what TikTok is, like, user-generated content, is that there is a race for content. The fastest person that can release is known as the biggest person, because you watch their video first, because they are the original. Yeah. Well, apart from the dances where people, especially those black creators, that get stolen. Yeah. And even with the Reesa Teesa stuff, like, people have been trying to steal her content, but the problem is, and I think what's quite interesting and why she has blown up, is that her content can only be found on her page. And it's done in a very specific way. It's 10 minutes long, which is a longer feature that TikTok has only just introduced recently. And you can't really slice it and dice it and put it onto, like, YouTube or put it onto
someone has
shorts.
Uploaded all of them to YouTube. Actually, which I think is actually God's work.
Yeah.
Not in a, like, I'm pretending this is mine. Yeah. But obviously they will get whatever revenue they get from clicking on this. But when this went viral, not just on TikTok, but also on, like, Facebook and other forms of social media, most people don't want to sit through a 10-minute video which they have to hold on to play at double speed, when they can watch the whole thing on YouTube at 1.25.
People were telling her that she should just put everything on YouTube, but I don't know if she got there quick enough.
No, someone's put it on.
Yeah. I mean, what ended up happening is I just had to, with every video I put in the playlist, every video I just had to change it to 2 times speed and then was watching it. And I was also doing my hair at the time, so it really helped with, like, keeping the time going. But I think what's also been interesting post the Reesa Teesa stuff is that there are people that are now making content about the content. So it's like people doing their thought pieces about it, which we are also doing, because we're discussing it, you know, in this forum. Do the thought pieces about it, doing the analysis, doing the reveals, doing the quizzes, doing, like, there's a lot of people that have made the content from the content. It's like an inception of it, which, you know, is great, because that's what great content does. I don't think we will ever have another Reesa Teesa, and I'm perfectly honest, I don't want anyone to come back with a 50-part series on something that may not necessarily be true. I believe Reesa Teesa 100%. But I think why it works so well is because she is a great storyteller. Like, people have said that a lot. She kept on giving the hook of, like, okay,
she to end every video on the hook.
Everyone's like, and in part 28, you're going to find out what happened. In part 30, you're going to find out about this. You're going to part this. You're going to understand why I said this. Like, there was a lot of great hooks, which I think will benefit the story, the script as well.
There are great hooks, but great 10-minute hooks.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you're going to write an hour-long version of this, I think this is honestly
a film,
3 eps, or you're right, a film,
limited series, and
I don't even think 4 episodes, 3 hour-long eps. Maybe you want the lead up to them getting married, you want the period of them getting married, and you want the aftermath.
Yeah, but you also want his backstory.
Yeah, so that's an aftermath when she's investigating him, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
yes, you know, it's
literally 3 parts.
But we watched, like, actually, the way she did it, 50 times 10. Okay, 52 times 10, 520 minutes. Divided by 60. That was, Jesus, Lord have mercy. 8 hours.
It's 4 hours. It's 4 hours 49 on YouTube.
Oh, times, or full thing, or
the
times
whole thing. The full length was 4 hours 49 minutes.
Jesus. We should actually 3 hours. Yeah, that's a 3 hours. Okay, not 3 hours, but, like,
I feel like
you can cut some of it.
Make it into 3 really jam-packed hours, which is what you want, as opposed to 3 baggy hours or 4 baggy hours.
I'll be down to see, because I know the story is hard, but I will only want to watch it because of, like, his star in it. But let's be honest, like, most things that get the hype, it's gonna come out a year or a year and a half later, and it's not gonna have the same hype. That's one thing. I would love that. I think the unscripted space is probably where it could be really, really interesting, especially for her. I think she could have a really... It could be the next type of like iteration of Catfish. I really do think. But the scripted aspect will be also interesting.
A good ref for this is The Watcher on Netflix. Okay. That was a cut article.
Oh yes, yeah. I haven't watched it, but yeah.
And a cut article 2-3 years later after the cut article, because I remember reading that article and be like, this is a show.
Okay.
But it was American.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't get the rights to it anyway. It's always going to be the one that got away from me.
Yeah.
The show is not nearly as atmospheric and pacey as the article. Because the problem with the story is that it doesn't have a conclusion. The article has a conclusion, but the story doesn't.
Is it coming back from series 2?
Yeah, but it's like going to be an anthology series. And because the story is just unconclusive. They never found out who was writing to them. They never found out.
Crap.
So the show then just starts speculating. Is it the neighbour? Is it this person? Is it a ghost?
Oh, that pisses me off.
Those are interesting thought experiments, but you can't deliver a satisfying show without a conclusion.
Yeah.
So Ryan Murphy needed to make a decision and go, we've decided it was supernatural, at which point you're basically making a season of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Or you go, it was just some regular dude writing a letter, which is kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Or you need to create a cult.
Yeah.
In which case, this is American Horror Story. Like, he was stupid not to make it a season of American Horror Story. I think is what he should use it as a jumping off point. I don't think he should try to tell the story as is, because if you're going to then veer in the second half into fantasy, why bother to tell the story as it was?
Yeah.
And I feared that this could end up in a similar situation, which is that, like, I'm sure the other thing is that cut article was being so highly contested because it was so... Well, I told you, I read it and I was scared. I was like, well, I don't know what... Like, the fact that there's no answer to this makes me uneasy, right? So many people must have been bidding on it, and I think it only got sold to Ryan Murphy because he's Ryan Murphy and he had his deal with Netflix.
Yeah.
And then you deliver something that's like, if only you'd given this to someone who actually had an interesting creative take, or if you didn't have that, like, frenzy, and you actually let the frenzy die down, and you saw who actually came back for this because they genuinely had need to make it. I think a lot of people just buy those kind of viral things because they're viral.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't think they care for or have a take on the story, and I found myself thinking, like, one, at the heart of this is a real story, and this woman, like, halfway through does say, oh, no, I've been really struggling to tell the rest of the story, it's taking a toll on me.
Yeah, of course.
And then on the other way, like, this is entertainment, so give us more, we need more, how much more can we get? And it's like, we're just going to take this and butcher this. So why can't we just enjoy it as a series on TikTok that makes you go, I'm so glad I still have TikTok, and then leave it there? Why do we have to be like, this has to try and make it into another form of media, and another form of media, another form of media? I don't know how I feel about the media to media pipeline. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
But I think it's because this piece of content was delivered in a way that was unnatural for TikTok. That's why people are like, oh, well, I would watch something like this, not necessarily on TikTok. Okay, let me scrap that. I would watch something like this if it was only one part or 2 parts at most. Let me clear, 3 parts at most, where she was like, I met him, he lied. Part 2 was, I found out he was lying more, and then part 3 was the aftermath. If it was just in 3 parts, that's TikTok. The fact that it was in 50 parts, that's not TikTok, and it's unnatural. And I think that's why, I mean, it blew up the way it did. But that's unnatural, so that's why it's like, well, this
format better suited to somewhere else.
Exactly, like, this format shouldn't work. And also, because she was so vivid in the way she was describing everything, it's like, well, I'm actually, like, visualizing all these things that you're saying, and actually, well, people have gone back and, like, started to show things of, like, how she describes the car, that her dream car, or the office that he said he worked at. So, like, people are like, I'm vividly seeing this, so this doesn't feel like it's living on TikTok, because this woman is just talking from the back of her car, or talking as she's driving from, you know. So I do think there's a space where you can take it from one media to another. How it's executed is a big thing, because I think you're going to get a very different, like you said, a very different experience if it's a Tyler Perry thing versus a Lifetime thing versus a Ryan Murphy. I think, yeah, it's going to be a very different tone.
It's all about the tone.
It's all about the tone, yeah. So I'm actually open to her, like, for them to move it, like, if they wanted to take it from another media form. I just want to make sure that she gets credited in the right way and she gets the money. Because
I mean, realistically, like, to me, the natural jump is, like, you make a podcast again.
Yeah, that's...
Because podcasts are longer than 10 minutes.
That's true.
So this would go from 52 parts to, like, 10 very quickly if you're making 40-minute episodes.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And essentially, you don't need to be watching the screen. Apart from sometimes she would be like, this is a picture of the house we were looking at, or this is where he said that he worked. You didn't need the screen. You could have just been walking down the street, listened to a voice note, really,
which is
from
what,
a friend.
I mean, it does sound like a crazy, like, let me tell you, like, take away the who did I marry, but, like, who the fuck did I go on a date with yesterday?
Yeah.
That was, again, part 1, part 2, part 3 would be fine. Part 50 is probably not so much. But yeah, let's wait and see. Yeah. Like, I think it's gonna continue to be talked about for, you know, maybe another week or so. But I think the big testament of it will be probably in a year's time when we see whether this story comes to life and in what format.
Do you know what? In 2 years when you've forgotten about it.
Fam, that's the thing.
Like,
that's the thing.
Yeah,
but I definitely don't. My only key thing is I just don't want to see copycats. Like, i.e., people coming going, let me tell you this big long-winded story. I know we will,
and I think that
it's just not going to work.
Well, just because there are times I've heard people tell stories or a rush through a story on TikTok. Yeah. I'm like, hold on a second.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah.
This, you need to. That's not how you tell that story. Remember, this woman was like, do you know the trend where it's like, call me crazy, but I've never liked stories. And this woman was like, that's not crazy. Do you know what's crazy? One time I was kidnapped by a police officer who raped me under a bridge, and then it turned out he wasn't a police officer, he was someone masquerading as a police officer. So when I went to the police station, which I wouldn't go to because I was worried I was going to see my attacker, turns out he didn't even work there because he wasn't a police station. He was a friend of my friend's roommate. He'd seen me once and decided that he was going to, like, this, when I told you, it was crazy. Then I saw another one, which like, it was going to be crazy, but I've no, like, still went pestering. It's like, that's not crazy. Do you know what's crazy? One time I was kidnapped. And I was like, these
stories are
and
wild.
People are trying to rush through them to get them in time. And I was like, no, hun.
I mean, I think that's why TikTok increased the limit to 10 minutes.
But I need to know how you were an adult getting kidnapped by another adult.
This one. I mean, my only favourite ones of those type of things was, again, Christine Gelly out here, is when it's like, oh, tell me a story where you knew that God is real, not one of these like spiritual things, like God, like it's actually real, and then people will tell like things that happen, like testimonies and things, and those type of things. They explain it, they give the story in a long enough space for it to breathe, but you get the conclusion, you're like, oh wow. And some of them have been really moving, and you're like, wow, God is real. Like this is not a coincidence. This is something that could have only been. Those are really sweet. Some of those call me crazy ones, like fam, too crazy for me.
They are mad.
But wild. And I'm glad I didn't go into that level of deep like rabbit hole on TikTok, because I don't think I could handle it.
I mean, that trend has passed, so
thank God.
Yeah, you wouldn't, but
thank God.
You know.
But that's the thing with TikTok, it's just a trend. Yeah. So like, we'll see what's the next big trend. I will say to the girlies and the guys out there that want to do these type of content, we don't need 50 parts unless you are a good storyteller. And unless it's a good story, I do not need 50 parts.
She was a great storyteller, but it really did not need to be 52
parts.
It
didn't need
there was too much house stuff. Like, a good script editor would have told her, we don't need nearly as much of this house stuff. We get it. Move on to the stuff that's interesting and different.
No, you're script editing her
life. I was like, not enough. Okay.
It was like 3 houses, like...
It was more than 3 houses. Yeah, as she said, they were looking for houses the whole time, but like, the beats of the story for the houses was the same. Yeah. Like, if we're gonna... Unless it's changing, this time I'm bringing my own realtor, or we bought furniture that never went anywhere. We'll just do a montage of looking at houses and we can move forward that way.
I think the only time when the house part was really interesting was when that realtor was like, girl,
get out.
Yeah. That's when he's like, oh, this is really interesting. And it makes sense. And then there's other realtor and you're like, oh, okay. I think they wanted to get Paul Rudd for the Scott.
White Scott, and then the other Scott's back.
Amber is white as well. She showed a real picture of her. This is the woman I really want to thank. And she said I got her permission and she put it up. She's white. So I think we'll have a very diverse cast if we do a scripted show.
And like the thing as well, they get to her being like, I said there's no way I'm staying here. I'm moving to Cobb County. I was like, it's so funny. Because we have no concept of why Congratulations is the place that you want to live in.
Also, like, how...
I didn't want to have a baby in Galveston or wherever she was. That's just like, girl, I don't live there. I don't know.
No, like, what's...
Not that there's anything wrong with this place, but you know what it's like.
No!
Do we?
Because you have to remember, you're on the internet, you're speaking to these guys. We're in London.
All over the world.
No, all over the world. We're in London. We do not know how things are in Atlanta. Like, you're right. Every state is like a country, but like, bruh. And even when she was going through the social security number.
All the stuff where it's like, so his family lives in blah, blah, blah. It's 2 hours away from bottom. So I got on the I-95. Go! Stop!
There was one time where she was trying to give the whole family the thing. She's like, he was born in Rhode Island, then this, then that. But I was like, and she repeated like 3 times. I'm like, girl, I get it.
They were born in Philly, but they went to high school and like, oh my
God. No wonder all the girlies were able to find him on TikTok.
Yeah, you were really telling my whole life story. But it's so funny because now I'm thinking if you flip this and this was a story being told in the UK, would American people be like, I don't understand. She said that she met him in Peckham, but they lived in Brixton, but then also he had family in Clapham. Like, what does that mean? Like, this confuses us out. It's like, the UK's just not even built in a way that you could be telling people that you was married in Los Angeles.
No, fam.
Because, like, the fact that you even have to apply to a separate council to try and figure out, like, we've got one central government. If you're telling me you're married, I can find that out.
Yeah, done. Like,
there's honestly, I have to call up the California state judge and like I don't have to do any of that shit.
I mean, I think a lot of it is very much specific to America. Like,
yes,
you never have to.
The only reason why you could get away with what he was doing is
because
basically I could be like, you know that old thing of like boys being like, yeah, I have a girlfriend, she just goes to another school. It's basically that thing. Like, I was married actually in California. Yeah, I played arena football. Did anyone ever find out what arena football was?
No, apparently the search term has spiked massively.
Because what is it?
I think arena football is basically football. But NFL.
Yeah, but is it
maybe it's before the NFL?
But is it like the Harlem Globetrotters, where it's like it's for entertainment rather than actual playing?
No idea. Let's Google it.
Because to me, arena football is okay. So it's indoor if it's in an arena.
Oh, is it?
It must be.
Yeah, true. Arena.
Because why would you just call it football if it's football?
Yeah, I just thought it was like the leagues. It's just arena football. Sorry, is a variety of 8-man indoor gridiron football. The game is played indoors on a smaller field than American or Canadian football. Designed to fit in the same surface area.
Play football.
I know. Designed to fit in the same surface area as the standard North American ice hockey rink, results in a faster and higher scoring game that can be played on the floors of indoor arenas.
Yeah, because it's not the whole.
Yeah, it's not NFL.
The length of so you should be able to cross that.
Also, there's the Arena Football League, AFL. So it's actually okay.
And he did not play that anyway. That's the worst thing. Now you made us go and Google arena football and you don't even play arena football.
Yeah,
what's it for?
Exactly. Well, I'm just trying to see if anyone. Someone's like, what is arena football? Yeah, no one's going back and attributing it back to Reesa.
Does California actually have an arena football league?
We don't know.
Anyway, he said he went to uni as a private citizen. That's why she can't find it. I was like,
absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
How are you even keeping up with her life?
Yeah, true. Like she said, she knew that it was definitely time to divorce, but she was just trying to get all her stuff ready. I mean, yeah.
Anyway, like I said, I don't think there's ever been a situation serious enough for me to create a web of lies.
No!
I might tell a lie, but if I have to lie 2 more times after that, I'm just dropping the whole thing. And I can't be asked for this.
And the fact that he was able to stay relatively consistent with them. But
it was a full-blown conversation for a day. She was with him for a year. He was having full-blown conversations with a dial tone.
Oh my god.
Scary ass behaviour.
Absolute
Sorry.
Madness.
Scary. Right.
Alright.
Last thing to update on, Love is Blind?
Love is Blind. So, the latest episodes dropped. Actually, by the time this comes out, the finale would have happened. However, we're going to talk about last week's drop.
Yes. So, the episodes 7, 8 and 9?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Really, really quick. We'll just go through them really quickly because we need to get onto the review of the week. But Kenneth and
Brittany
are done.
That's crazy because when we reviewed
we thought those two were going to make it.
Shooing. I was like, they're both Christians, they're waiting till marriage, they're on the same page. Nothing.
In a very weird way where it felt like basically I don't know if it was the conversation with the AD. I don't know if he just wasn't feeling her from the beginning. But as soon as they get to the apartment that they're going to live in, he just checks out the relationship.
And they immediately got his phone. I think there's something on that phone because I've never seen someone.
Also, can I just say the editors are devil works hard, but the editors work harder. The way they are zooming into him on his phone when she's like, "Do you want to get something to eat? Blank. Are you going to put your stuff away? Blank. Do you want to put your stuff in here? Blank." They said this man's on his phone. He don't
care.
But eventually, she sort of brings up to him, "Don't you think it's weird? Like, we're not being you're not being very affectionate with me." He's like, "Well, I was affectionate with you actually the other day when you was fast asleep. I came in and I woke you up, and I tried to kiss you, and you didn't kiss me back." It's like,
what?
It's midnight, and I have to be up at 5. Or 2. It was 3 in the morning. She had to be up at 5. And then he said, and then she was like, "I don't know. It feels a bit weird that like we're just not. I'm not getting the sense that you want to rip my clothes off, or I want to rip your clothes off." And then all of a sudden he's like, "That's you."
Yeah.
I do feel that. If you don't feel that, then maybe we should part ways. In fact, this ain't gonna work. Bye.
Yeah, to me
that's how quickly it was quick. Turns.
But I'll be honest. I'll be frank. He didn't want that woman.
Which I think is crazy.
He didn't want.
So pretty.
She's so pretty. He didn't want that woman. I think deep down he knew that he had never been with a white woman before, and as much as in the
that. Sorry.
I didn't believe it either. But as much as he was saying in the pods, I'm open. When he got down to it, he realized, will this woman be able to fit into my world? Will my boys be down with me having a white wife?
But one of the things we found out in these episodes, which I don't know, maybe they said earlier and I just didn't pick up, it's not like he's the first black guy she's dated.
No, she said that she's dated other black guys before.
So it's not like she's coming in here being like, "I don't even know how a person would date." Like, I know she says weird stuff like she identifies as a black female. What does that mean? Anyway, she's trying to. I don't think there's any malicious. There's a malicious bone in her body. I think she's just trying to make sure that she doesn't say something that gets her in trouble. But what I find annoying, and I think that's the issue with the men, and I think the issue with the experiment post that first season, is people coming on here do not want to find love.
No.
This man came on here, connected with her in the pod, was telling her he loved her, saw her, then she was white, was like, "Oh, actually, I don't love you anymore. No. There is nothing about you. I don't even want to try and figure this out. I'm out." When you think about Lauren and Cameron, Cameron's season even, the thing about Barnett and Amber and Lauren and Cameron is that, like, okay, we came out. You weren't maybe who I had thought in my head was my dream person, but you were the person I fell in love with in the pod, and I'm going to give this a go.
Yeah.
Hence, these people are still married.
To this day.
Being married is about choosing each other. Yeah. And I feel like these people went, "Oh, I just loved your voice in the pods." Then they came out and they weren't who they thought they wanted, who they was expecting. They said, "Get me out of here."
This is the first season. I know this has probably happened in other seasons, but this is the first season where I felt the experiment wasn't honoured. Because in the first season, and I hate that we always go back to it, but that was our benchmark.
Yeah, they couldn't say anything.
They couldn't. They didn't say anything. They suspected, like, Lauren suspected that Cameron was white, and Cameron probably suspected that Lauren was black, but they never talked about it.
No.
They never did. And it's only until they met, and then, they had the conversations afterwards, that they were like, "Oh, yeah, this is it." This is the first season where I think almost every single couple have asked the question, like, how do you look? How do you identify? In some shape or form. Like, you have the extremes with, like, Chelsea saying she looks like Megan Fox. You have even Brittany asking, what's his face? Like, how does he identify? Or someone basically...
That's what she asked.
She asked him, how do you identify? He's like, "Oh, I'm black." Like, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that, but the whole point of the experiment is that you are going in blind. Love is blind. You're not supposed to know anything about them. You can suspect it, but you keep that to yourself so that when you do reveal and be like, "Oh, I've seen this person," then you can decide, oh, does the voice match the face? I've noticed when people start to do that, is the voice matching the face, you don't like them. No. Because that's what happened with Jessica and Mark, series 1.
Yeah.
And it's happened on...
That point in the series where she's like, "Why don't you go in the other room and talk to me?" And then maybe that would...
Oh, Jesus. That was the doom to end. So...
Also, the other thing is, I feel like the issue wasn't that Mark wasn't who she thought he was going to be. She was like, she was fully in love with someone else. And he chose someone else.
Like, and then she was like, but I still have to be part of this experiment. Yeah. That was her problem.
I will see his face. Yeah. By force.
So everyone, Kenneth and Brittany, AD and Clay, AD really tried to shut it down and was like, that was good on her. But Clay going, I really want to see how you look. What's called? Chelsea and what's his face? Thumb guy.
Damn, Jimmy.
And who's the fool? Then Jeremy and Laura, I don't think they talked about looks, but he was talking to Sarah Ann going, I put Botox and filling in my face. Like, it's hard because this experiment has been honoured, and I think that it's just now that Love is Blind is so established, you're seeing it with other franchises too. Like, I watched Love is Blind Sweden. First thing they were talking about, and some of the couples were talking about like how they looked or their physical attributes, and all the guys saying, I'm really shallow.
Can I carry you?
Oh yeah.
Would I be able to pick you up?
Would I be particular? Oh, that was mad. Absolutely mad. Like, so.
And we dragged him for filth for doing that. And then you're right, we've got people on this season who would be like, I mean, the minute she dropped the Megan Fox thing, I said, this is a ploy.
Yeah.
Because you don't look well, again, I'm going to back her in that, like she said, because I have light eyes and dark hair. She never said because I look like a Megan Fox. But
she knew what she was doing when she said it.
She did that because she knew she was competing with Jess. Jess, I will come to her as well, but like the way that the internet's been gassing her up. True. And the way she's already gassing up herself. She is not, naturally beautiful. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't deserve compliments if you've had work done and it looks good and blah, blah, blah. But I just struggle I really struggle with the idea that we praise people for having work done so that they can look exactly like someone else. All of those girlies look exactly... All of those girlies that get work done look exactly the same. You've all done all this work to get one generic face. I think we need to examine that because it's fucking weird.
I mean...
And I'm not saying she's not attractive. She is. But she has... I've had work done face.
Oh, yeah, no, she does.
If you like what that face looks like, then you're going to have a great time.
Some guys do.
No, I don't doubt it. Otherwise, people wouldn't be getting that work done. If I was getting that work done to have zero results, that would be very, very silly.
I mean, she knew that she could say, you are going to choke and need an EpiPen when you see me. Like, she knew that she could say... I mean, it's a wild thing to say. Absolutely wild.
And then, again, this time around, she was like, but the thing is, when I went and did research, all his exes looked like me. So he knows, I know, you guys all know, if he ever met me, it'd be like dangling temptation. Yeah. I was like, God, this is why you're single. Yeah. Because the game that you're playing is for a man. Yeah. Like Jimmy.
Because she's seen him by now. So
you are doing all this.
You're doing the most. You've seen him now. Because to me, once you've seen Jimmy, you'll be like, I'm relieved.
People need help. She said, it doesn't matter. As soon as I hear his voice, I'm going to be right back there. I said, you're on it. Again, she is a person. Everything about the way she behaved on the pod during the show was given that exact same thing of, I've decided it's my time. Yeah. When she was like, I told my daughter I'm not coming back to her again. What kind of messy parenting is that? Why have you got your kid gassed up about, I'm going to get a step? Don't do stuff like that. When you're an adult.
Yeah, when she also says things like, you're my first time pick, or first draft pick, or
you're my husband.
You're my husband. Oh, sorry, did I say that? Like, there's a lot of pick me energy, which is hard because you're in this place where really and truly the men should be picking you and you're picking them. The only person that had the luxury of two men fighting over her was Chelsea, where you had Trevor who was like, I actually like you. Who?
LAD.
Oh, LAD, sorry. Matthew was a joke though. You're not going to put him seriously. No.
I mean, they were fighting over her. Clay was fighting her.
Clay was trying to her. Yeah. But like, Trevor saying, I want you, I'm here, I love you. And then she going to the guy that was like having two options. And
she wanted to be like, oh.
I want. And
imagine Jess's face when she finds out he chose to be.
But then you opened your mouth and said, you look like Megan Fox, my lord.
No, you knew you had to do that. That's the worst thing. It's really like, bad. If he was meant for you, you would have won the game fair and square. The minute you said, oh, do people say you have a celebrity look like? Because people tell me I look like me.
See,
that's like me going in there being like, oh, you know, I'm quite a humble girl, but I guess whenever I go out, people tell me I look like Beyonce.
You come on.
In the sense that I'm black.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Shut up.
I got light eyes.
Yeah. I got blonde hair, light eyes. You know, what can I say? Become Beyonce, like.
It's just it's
no, but you look like Luther Vandross, which is a line from Flavor of Love. When Tiffany Pollard, one of the girls was like, people always tell me I look like Beyonce, and Tiffany Pollard's like, no, bitch, you look like Luther Vandross.
Oh my god.
It's just she didn't even look like Luther Vandross. Justice for what's her name?
What whoever the girl was.
Yeah, I can't remember her name is.
But
she actually did look more like Beyonce than she looked like.
Yeah, come on. But all I'm gonna say is like this season, wow, and then we'll find out more about what happened with Jeremy and Laura.
Let's get into it now. Basically, they're fine, and then you know her family are like, maybe you're a bit too rude to him. She's like, he knew what he was getting when he signed up. Which honestly, don't say you can take it if you can't take it. I mean, and I got the impression from day one of them on their honeymoon, this guy has lied about how much of this he could take.
You said that as well. You did say that.
He has lied about how much of this he can take, and she's also lied about how fun she is. She's not really fun. Her idea of fun is negging you.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, this is not going to be fun for you. And as a person who today was described as having some venom, I can't help but look at Laura and be like, she seems fun.
I was gonna say so the negging part, that's how I would flirt with someone. So
I think she seems really fun.
So she seemed really like fun and like she was very assertive, but I liked that dynamic. She always kept him on his edge, which I kind of liked.
Yeah, her sister being like, personally, if he told me he liked Hawaiian shirts, I would just go out and buy him more Hawaiian shirts. I was like, bitch, shut the fuck. Actually, I love that for you. Like, I love that you are a nurturer in that way. Like, you hear that someone likes something. Me, personally, that's not my drag. I do something different to you, sister.
But I mean, the thing is, I would never say, don't wear your Hawaiian shirts. I would just, like, rip you to shit every time I see you wearing this shirt. Yeah, which I think is funny. Which I think was just funny. But, I mean, the fact that my guy went out.
He was going out with the boys, quote unquote, or wherever. Maybe you never said he said he was going out. He found out Sarah Ann was coming, so he said, listen, I'm not going to be able to enjoy my night unless I have a chat with Sarah Ann first, because she obviously has stuff she wants to get off her chest.
What?
Cut to, he left the house at 10, came home at 5 in the morning. She's like, where have you been? She was, where were you? He was like, I was in a parking lot talking to Sarah Ann. She's like, until 5 in the morning. He said, yeah, what, you don't believe me? I shared my location with you. She's like, okay, but you weren't in the parking lot until 5. She's like, yes, I was. What do you mean by that? She's like, because your location told me that you was driving to this part of town where Sarah Ann lives.
Yeah.
So, now what? Then he's like, I don't want to talk about this. I'm telling you.
Oh my lord.
Every time I watch these shows, I'm like, oh, I definitely have rage problems. Because if you looked at me in the eye after I caught you in a lie and said, oh, I don't want to talk about this.
Oh, that's your problem.
You have just got in the house after being in some girl's house. And you're sitting here telling me you never did anything. And I'm telling you, I know you did. And now you don't want to talk about it. So when I've actually got to the bottom of it, you don't want to talk about it. But you were happy to talk about it when you was lying to me. Get your shit.
Yeah.
And get out.
Yeah.
I think you need to go. It's so disrespectful.
It is, yeah.
And then he's sitting there with an attitude like she's done something to him.
Yeah. It was,
and I just didn't. It was really rubbing me the wrong way. And it reminded me also of the way that he behaved at that first party. Where she was like, you shouldn't have told them this joke that was just between the two of us. I wasn't actually telling you to do that. It was a joke. And he was like, right, and I've made us look like a dickhead then. Right, I'm going.
Yeah.
And left. And then the rest of that night slept on the sofa and didn't speak to her. And when she told that story, I was like, me personally, that kind of behaviour, big red flag.
Yeah, it was.
You're not gonna ice me out as if I did something to you when you were the one who did something wrong.
It gave and it showed his immaturity, which I think he's like supposed to be grown, like
in his 30s. Yeah.
So, I don't know, the men have been disappointing so far this year. You have Clay, who's still talking about the fact that he's worried that he will cheat on AD.
So, I will say this. The story that Clay said about how his dad would take him on his cheating experiments, you need to go to therapy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Because that is a massive violation. Yeah, that is 100%. Not a thing a parent should do to a child. Like, that will mess you up. And I think that's why he's so fixated on it. Because, of course, you would be. Because your dad made you an accomplice to cheating on your mom. What the hell?
It was messy, fam.
What the hell?
And some of this stuff, the mom don't know. She's only going to find out when she watches the show. It's actually really messy.
And this is what you have to go to therapy because you need to be having that conversation. You can't be turning 30, 35, 36, 40 and still keeping secrets from your mum. Like, we need to air this shit out because it's obviously eating away at him. He thinks that he has no choice but to cheat on his wife. Which, if I'm AD, massive red flag.
This is not fix a hoe. It's I gotta go.
It's not fix a hoe, and it's also let's see if he by himself can work through. He can't.
Yeah, man.
He needs to be in therapy. There's absolutely no way he can work through this on his own. Yeah. He will 100% cheat on you because he doesn't know how else to process what he experienced as a child.
And no lie.
Even when he was like, I love my dad, I wouldn't say bad things. Like, this is the problem. You haven't, because you can say in one hand, I love my dad, and you can also say what he did, that behaviour is rotten.
The thing is also, like, he cheats and he will just be like, but I told you this is something.
I tried really hard. You know how hard it was.
You know how, like, I'm telling you all my flaws, and which I think is hard because for some women, like, a guy being vulnerable and saying that this is my flaws can be very endearing because it's like, oh, you've taken the pride, you've lowered your pride and been like, this is something that I'm working on, this is something I'm struggling with. But I just don't feel like Clay has given enough space to share what he's actually working on, apart from like, these are the things I've noticed, these are the issues I have, I'm worried that I'm going to cheat. There's no like, this is something that's happened in my life, this is what I've been doing to work on it. Versus, all he's just doing is like, yeah, I'm worried that, you're too good for me.
Also, he does this thing which I personally find really irritating.
Which is?
He just sort of sucks all the air out of the room. Like, everything has to be like... A little
lecture.
When they're on the sofa and he's like, so basically my fear is that, I really don't want to let you down. And also, obviously it's not my aim to let you down, but it's also just in the back of my mind, like, I could let you down. And like, basically, like, as a kid I experienced, she's just sitting there looking at him.
She looked tired, fam.
Literally.
Tired.
And I've noticed, since they got together, where is the space for us to learn more about AD?
I think you're done.
Everything is... And this is how Clay feels about the situation. And this is what Clay is feeling right now. And I just...
It's sad.
And this is maybe why I'm single. Shut up.
No, all we learned about Clay, AD, was that she's got a big ass.
She's got a big
and she likes to shake it. And she was sexualised. And that part, I hated it. I hated watching that.
And she was. And I also think she had to take it in
stride.
And I feel like she's specifically trained for this because she was a dancer for the NFL.
Oh, was
like
she?
A cheerleader for the NFL.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so probably that's a big part of like that. As soon as you probably tell someone that you used to be a cheerleader for the NFL, you're currently a cheerleader for the NFL.
Yeah.
You know how those conversations go. So I feel like she probably is the most experienced at maybe handling something like that, and that's why she handles it in a very gracious way. But yeah, you're right, another person that would just be like, this is completely with my day and I want to go home.
Yeah. I think the moment when I watched it, I was like, this is she's either got the ick from him or she should have had the ick from him, was when they're at the honeymoon and he's slurping his soup and then packing the plate. Packing the plates was fine to me.
Sorry, I don't know why.
There was something, it happens, you pack the plate. The slurping of the soup.
What, the slurping of the soup? Grim. The slurping, the way he was eating, like, the man had never eaten
broiler.
in his life. Well, at the beach, you order soup. That already eaten in of itself. What? But let's put the soup, maybe you just love soup. Let's put that to one side. I finished my food. You're still munching, crunching. And meanwhile, there's no conversation.
No, that's the thing.
You're not trying to include it, and that's what I mean about it. He feels very self-involved. Yeah. When he was ready to start talking, it's time to listen to Clay talking about how Clay feels about the situation. Not asking AD, how did you find your meal? Yeah. How are you finding the trip? It's always like, I'm really proud of myself because I really do think I've opened up in these past few weeks. Afterwards, when they met his parents. My friends are all saying, Jill, I've really grown. I've really changed. I've really grown. They can't believe I'm there. So everything is about him, and it's infuriating. He is not that interesting a character.
No. AD did say, because people were getting at her on socials, and she did say the reason why her face was that way was because it was their first proper, like,
I saw that meal. As well.
Which, to me, it makes sense. Like, that's your first date.
And also, if they feel worried about her face, you'd be worried about my face constantly about things. What do you mean?
What's going on?
Would you tell me I can't make a face? She didn't say to him, you're disgusting.
No.
She just said, that's what her face said.
I would just keep on looking at the camera going, is this for real?
And then she laughed at one point, which I feel like was her trying to get his attention. Be like, hey man, chill. So,
like, hey,
and he just kept going.
He wants to have a date with the meal. I was like, enjoy it.
He was in love with that meal.
But yeah, I think what's also been
his mood that he's the one probably getting the most like Clay zesty AF. Which again, like I say every time, we have to move past this discourse of just witch hunt. It's called like going on these gay witch hunts where we're like, I was the first person to say he was gay. If he now turns out to be gay, I was right. If a man is different in any way and he's straight, he's in fact gay. Especially when they're men of colour.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's probably because of our relationship with queerness as a culture, there are a lot of people who are having to live closeted lives. So sometimes you're not that off. But equally, it's not really our place to name or out or do any of that. So if Clay is gay, Clay will come out when Clay's good and ready. It's really only him and AD's business.
Yeah.
And her comments are not, he's giving gay. Her comments are like, when was the last time you ate?
So it's just
honestly, it's given. I just got out of prison.
Yeah, it was ravenous.
Well, I came out of the ground. It's Jesus pushing the rock after the 3 days and be like, where is the food? I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten in days. I've been dead. I don't know if you guys know that. I haven't even put no food together for me. No, it's given hungry hippos. I don't see it for them.
No, I don't know. I just don't know.
Their work schedules feel bizarre.
Yeah.
When she then tries to say when his mum comes to visit and his sister, and she's explaining like, you could actually try and make an effort to come and see me in between work. And he's like, why would I do that when that's not practical for me? Yeah. Why are you getting married?
I don't even want to. Like, to me, that was just wild.
I'm telling you, this book that I'm reading that says, are you ready for love? They would say, no, you are not. Yeah. If you don't think it is worth you driving home to your wife when you can to see her, but prioritising the fact that in the morning you need to be X, so you're just going to stay here, you're not a single person. You can't be living a single person. Like, you can't be making decisions that only benefit you.
No. Have we seen her mum yet?
We've seen the clip, but she hasn't come in.
To the out. One other thing that's come up, which now the episodes are dropped, more news are coming out on socials, is that quite a few of the contestants were in relationships / engaged before they came. Weeks before they came on Love is Blind, which again spoils the experiment, spoils the authenticity and integrity of this experiment. But first it was Trevor, he was in a relationship. Then there was Jeremy, as you said, being engaged. Then there was some girl coming out saying that she was in a relationship with a guy who she saw on Love is Blind chatting to a woman about having a child. Talking to a woman who had a child, and people assumed it was Jimmy, and then Jimmy was like, I don't know this woman. Sorry to this woman, I do not know.
I've never met this woman.
But either way, like, the men are messy. Like, it's just... This year, I don't feel like we have a good crop of men. I think the crop of men is a lot worse than the women. Because there's a couple of seasons ago where the women were not repping the team.
I mean, I will say...
bar Chelsea.
Yeah. She's the only person I struggle to get behind because she is a lot. And, like, the thing about being a lot is that, like, I do think she's insecure, which is the problem. Yeah. And I think that's a separate thing. But just being a lot is not a bad thing. You just have to marry someone who that is good for. The bust up she has with Jimmy where she's like, you haven't kissed me all day.
Yeah. Was that after seeing his friends?
Seeing her friends.
Oh, okay.
It's after they've seen her friends.
Yeah.
And she's told them, you didn't kiss me all day. And then he's like, well, I did kiss you here and I did kiss you here. And she's like, oh yeah. So well, what do you want? And then they keep going back and forth. And the way that they argue as well is so toxic. Like, it's just unhealthy. There is no resolve. She just wants to yell at him. Well, what she wants is for him to reassure her that he wants her when they have an argument.
But he does.
It's not, but the issue, unless it's the issue being insecure, there's nothing you really can say to me to reassure me. There's nothing you can say to me to reassure me right now.
It's her whiny voice that gets on my absolute nerves.
I think the way that she acts whenever she sees her friends and she's like, I'm sorry. Okay, it's so... That would give me the ick of vibes. No, not enough for me to be like, I'm
sorry.
over it.
When the doors opened the first time, she's like, oh my God, what's up?
She does that every time she sees people.
It's like a excited dog.
100%.
Like a golden retriever.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Weird. And I think she's actually a very pretty girl.
Why did you take a really long pause to say that?
Because I was trying to figure out. I was trying not to say like pretty. She's not Megan Fox, but she's pretty. But that her whine and her behaviour, and I think a lot of it's alcohol induced. Is not. It's very unattractive.
The whining, the arguing, the like I said, she's insecure and also she can feel Jimmy not.
Yeah, he's not 100% in.
Yeah, and so it makes her want to go to him even more. She's like, kiss me. I'm gonna give kisses. Like, the conversation where she's talking about, you didn't kiss me all day, and he just goes, okay, if I'm going to be honest, because I think she's pushing him as well. When you say you love me, but you just say it like you love me. And he's like,
come on.
If I'm honest, you're being really clingy. She's like, clingy? You think I'm clingy? And I was obviously upset with that, which I feel like most people, even if you are genuinely clingy and you hear that, it's probably going to upset you.
It's not upset,
it's not a nice thing to hear, is it?
Yeah, like you're doing too much.
Yeah, you won't leave me alone.
But she was, and I think when she watches this back, she will see it. But hopefully she sees it. But like, it's a lot. I'm saying like, oh, you only kissed me one time. I expect 4 kisses. I'm like, that is girl.
Counting that.
Come on.
And then when she's sort of going on about him being clingy, he was like, yeah, I just had sex with you and you're gonna say I'm clingy? And he's like, I also did when I have sex with you. Oh my God.
Jesus, Lord have mercy. I mean, Jimmy's not helping himself.
Jimmy, but I feel like Jimmy was like, listen, I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to be nice to you, but if you're going to keep pushing me, I'm going to have to tell you what I really think. That's what the problem is. He's trying to force it.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're not helping me force it because you keep asking me, but do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? No, bitch.
Come on.
No.
Actually, Jessica. I don't because I think the minute those doors opened, he had the biggest regret of his life. Because Jessica did tell you be getting an EpiPen.
Anyway, I saw in the trailer that she's trying on a wedding dress. And I was like, if her and Jimmy go to an aisle, this is crazy. But equally, if her and Trevor go, I'm a bit like, I don't think you deserve him.
I don't know.
Because you have to work through the fact that you chose Jimmy simply because you wanted to get one over on the hot girl in the, like, you're not taking your life seriously either. We're not in here to get one over on hot girls. We're here to find love. And you liked Trevor, and the two of you, your connection was natural, felt effortless, and you went, Jimmy.
Nah, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of this season and the reunion. I want to just see,
same.
I just want to see where we get
with
this.
And then Johnny and Amy are fine.
Yeah, Johnny and Amy are fine, yeah.
Well, actually, no, one thing about Johnny and Amy. Johnny is so scared about getting pregnant that he doesn't think wearing a condom is enough. Either she needs to be in the pill or he has to get a vasectomy.
Yeah, I think they're just
go to therapy.
Yeah,
you can't be that terrified of having a child.
Also,
most people have sex with condoms and don't get pregnant.
Come on,
what are you scared? Like that is a phobia. Like I don't want to see a spider type phobia.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
I think it's the whole idea of like, oh, we don't want to like bring a child into the world,
but you want to retire at 50 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think retirement.
Like I'm like, look, if you could do it, good on you.
But you can't afford to have a kid.
I just don't think they want.
The story's not adding up. You can't have children and also be talking about early retirement unless you've got a job that's paying you $200K a year.
I think that's what they want. They want to save as much money as they can now. Then have the kid. I mean, they need to figure it out.
You don't know when you're gonna get the $200K a year job. What if that doesn't happen till you're 40?
Yeah.
She's got a biological clock that is ticking. You have to be practical sometimes.
Yeah. Well, look.
We'll find the money.
Yeah. And we're gonna watch the rest of the season and the finale and the reunion. The rest of the episodes come out next week, and then reunion I'm sure will come out afterwards. But I am excited to see the rest of this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we move on?
Yeah. Sorry, I keep yawning. I'm on doctor's orders, not allowed to yawn properly.
Oh really? Oh, cool, your jaw.
So I keep basically doing like half a yawn, and my brain's like, no.
Like do the full thing.
Yeah, it's like keep yawning.
Yeah, but when you've done the full one, that pain. Like I feel the pain for you, even though you're like, oh, it's not that painful. I'm like,
it didn't hurt. Yeah, but I'm supposed to be on soft foods, which I haven't been doing because get out of my life. Please, I'm like, I find it hard enough to decide what I'm going to eat every day anyway, without you then telling me I can only have mashed potato and fish for 3 months. Get out.
Really?
Yeah.
Crap.
Anyway,
we're gonna move on.
Cut that out.
Yeah,
because I don't know if they can hear my yawns.
Yeah, completely. We're gonna move on to our review of the week.
This is me now.
Okay, so Jennifer Lopez has released a new album called "This Is Me Now."
Which, based on the songs on this, in this film, she shouldn't have released it.
I agree. And as part of that release, she also released a film of the same name on Amazon Prime. One of the things that made me laugh on the album overall was the comments on TikTok that said, "This is me now" because it was Ashanti before. Because as you know, Ashanti sang a lot of J-Lo's hits, and her vocals are still on there. So yeah,
all your favourite J-Lo songs are Ashanti songs.
Oh, honestly, because they just are. I just finished watching the film before we recorded, but you had notes, which I should actually share with you.
We could work from my notes. It's a great way for me to remember
the
experience of watching this film, which I was like, what the hell is this? Okay, thank you very much. So I liked, one of the first songs, well...
Actually, maybe before we go into the song, the film is basically a dramatization of the album, but based around the story of
the idea of love.
Of love, and using J-Lo's story as a backdrop for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's a song called Rebound.
The first song, yeah.
And I was like, oh, what a nice touch. They're tied to each other, so they keep coming back to one another. And also, people in glass houses, you get it? Shouldn't throw stones. I was like, ooh, it's almost 2 on the nose. I like the choreo though. I feel like the first thing I noticed about this was like, oh, they did choreo.
Oh yeah, true.
She's doing choreo, which, say what you will about her, you can't say the bitch can't dance.
No, she was a dancer first, then singer next, an actress, whatever.
And that is something that remains the same. Yeah. I think she is in a phenomenal, like, watching her move, even when she's in a room full of other dancers, I just find myself drawn to her. I'm like, she has something about her. Like, I get why she has the career that she has, because you're just like, who is she? I like the guy that she was in a couple with.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, and they had a good chemistry. I mean, there's a part where he hits her, and I was like, ooh, did we have to go this far? But I mean, it's the interesting tone to set at the beginning of the film.
Minus the hitting, he was hot.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. There are also, what I liked was that there were other couples in said glass house who were in their own little weird toxic tied relationships, which I liked. And then, but then I wrote in my commentary, but why all toxic couples? I don't know what I was going to say after that. I was going to say something, and now I can't remember.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was part of the whole theme of the song, which is like, you rebound, you like spin the block.
Come to each other, we're with each other at like our worst times, and we are our worst versions of ourselves.
Maybe.
And we have to basically separate, like, this is unhealthy and we need to get out of it.
Yeah.
It's basically a song about a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
It's quite catchy, which is like, I always think with songs where it's like about something sad or something dark and it's like super catchy. It's like,
this is... The only song I think about quite a bit, because I actually really like the song, is Hard Times of Paramore. And I'm like, this song, I like the beat of the song, I like the vibe, I listen to the lyrics, I'm like, huh? This song is dark. But my God, I really like the catchiness of the song. So anyway, yeah. That's my thing.
And then we meet the Zodiac. I don't know if you call them gods or just the representatives of the Zodiac.
The Zodiac Circle. Yeah.
And basically this is, think of the most random celebs you can think of. Right? Put them all on dartboard. You throw the dartboard. Those are the celebs you've decided. So, for instance, there's Keke Palmer and Post Malone.
Jane Fonda and Trevor Noah, my love.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, who, by the way, is a scientist.
I was wondering, I recognise that guy.
Sofia Vergara.
Yeah, that was random.
Who else?
Kim Petras.
Kim Petras. One of the dudes didn't recognise. He was actually Aries, representative for Aries. He's a wellness coach.
What?
And then a literal guru.
Oh yeah, the guy from the YouTube guy.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm just trying to get my head around who. Oh, Jennifer Lewis.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Lewis was there. Yeah.
So I was like, right. The thing that this has drawn my attention to first and foremost, casting non-actors next to actors, you're setting them up to fail.
Oh yeah.
Keke Palmer's line delivery is so effortless.
Yeah. In
comparison to poor Post Malone, who's doing his goddamn best, but it just feels so. Kim Petras equally being like, stunning! It's like you have one word and it feels. The other thing it feels like is each of these people shot their cameos separately. These people were never in a room together. They're not bouncing off each other in the way that they need to, which probably is not helping with the non-actors acting because they have no one to act against.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I'm trying to figure out maybe they owe her money, like Jennifer Lopez, and that's why they're in the film. Lewis.
I never have seen any of these people together. The only person I could believe that they're friends is one, Sofia Vergara, because
say it.
Lion Sisters.
Yeah.
Two, Fat Joe, because she's been.
Oh yeah, Fat Joe's in it, but he's not.
He's not in the Zodiac circle, but he's in the film. But I'm like, I understand Joe because they've been friends. That being said, he's not an actor.
Again, and you can tell.
But everyone else, where was the link? I don't know. I've never seen them interact.
She just chose random celebs that she knows or her husband knows.
Yeah, and to be do you want to be
who happen to be an Aries or a Leo or whatever, and got them in.
Do you think that it was based on the actual sign?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah. Really. I think it'd be stupid to cast Keke Palmer as like a Libra when she's the kind of person who's quite vocal about what her star sign is.
Oh really?
Be stupid.
Yeah.
So just get them to play and also the clever thing with that would be like, basically I'm going, Keke Palmer is the most Aquarius I know. That's why it would be funny to cast her in this. Jane Fonda's the most Taurus I know, whatever it is. I can't remember what they are. Post Malone is Leo, and I'm sure maybe in real life he's like the life and soul of the party. He's not the life and soul of this table.
No.
And they keep trying to force it like, oh, you always just trying to hit on girls, Leo. It's like, oh
God.
I feel uncomfortable. And not in a way where it's like, this man keeps hitting on me. I'm like, somebody please help this man. He's wandered into the wrong part of the club and he needs help going home. But it was a nice break from, weirdly, the only bit that felt very clearly like a construct was the Zodiac thing. It's like, this is the thing hanging otherwise very random scenes together.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't work out if this came after she'd written the random scenes and went, we need something to tie this together, or that was always the way. It's like the Zodiacs are the ones. And also, sorry, does this make sense? The collective Zodiacs are helping Jennifer Lopez find love. Wouldn't it just be her Zodiac helping her find love?
Ideally, but to me, I'm not a Zodiac person at all. And maybe that was supposed to be her thing. Maybe she is very into Zodiac. Because when she was like, oh, the guy is such a Leo or Taurus or whatever the sign she was, or he was, like maybe in real life she is very much into those things, and she was like, oh, I want to use the signs to help me.
Yeah.
As a sign of love. I don't know. It was too wacky for me.
It didn't come together. Yeah. And it was weird because it's an hour long and it's like, what did you do for that hour that we still don't really understand how this all comes together? My next thought was, everything looks like it's AI generated.
I agreed. The CGI and the graphics were, good. Like, pristine, crisp. Everyone was crisp and pristine, yeah.
The wedding dress cut out, wow. I don't know if you remember this, but before she does her little wedding number where she's like basically doing a montage of her marrying 3 guys because she just loves love, which is basically the message of this film. It's like, why is everyone mad at me? I just really love love. The cutout is her crotch. And I was like, why would anyone want a dress where your top half is covered, no boobs, everything's covered, and the only thing you cut out is specifically my vagina?
It's a vibe.
I said, this is a choice, and I really don't get what we're supposed to learn from this, that she's a hoe. Like, it was weird. Then, my next thought was, the editing is making me dizzy, and I'm sat down. Like, it's constantly cutting from scenes, and it's like a pace faster than a music video for some reason. There's like a scene where...
Wait, do you mean the pace of the actual film or the pace of the music moments?
Pace of the film and then all of the moments.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much going on, and you're like, hold on a second, what is the story? All you have to do is slow down the pace of this for me. Like, okay, I get it. Because it's going so quickly that when they're swapping out her husband, I could barely notice.
Oh, yeah, true. No, I noticed each one, but I was like, I kept on thinking, is one supposed to represent Mark Anthony, one's supposed to represent Ben, one's supposed to represent this person? I was trying to get that, but...
But she never married him, Ben Affleck, the first time. They weren't engaged.
No, they were engaged.
Did you spot Ben Affleck?
At the end, and then, in the wedding part?
No, he's the news anchor. At
the
but did you spot it when you were watching it the first time? Okay, I thought it was just crazy.
It's only when literally that last part when he's talking.
When they said, starring Ben Affleck, and they literally have him.
Oh, is it? Did they actually shape? I missed the Ben Affleck part. But I just saw him talking, when he was talking, and as he kept on talking, I looked at DP, I was like, crap, that is Ben Affleck. And he looked so scary, and I was like, the whole thing was just freaky. I was just like, what the hell?
It was weird. And again, that was a segue that paid off to what exactly? Nothing. In the film, it had literally no payoff.
And the only part when I realised, Ben Affleck is part of the film is that the final scene where she's about to jump on this motorcycle, and you see like a glimpse of him.
I assumed that was supposed to be him. But then at the top of the film, they crash. And I guess that's supposed to represent the first relationship.
Maybe, yeah, true.
Anyway, girl, how did that link to the other stuff? We don't know. There is one line that made me laugh out loud.
What? Which one?
Which is, at the wedding, all her friends are like, they're intercutting her friends making speeches. And one of them was like, everyone here said you have a problem, but I do not think you do. And I was like, if you started a speech at your friend's wedding with like, I just want to say, everyone thinks that you're a bitch, but I don't. It's crazy.
Why do I feel like you would do that?
Honestly, this made me laugh so much. I was like, I might steal this. It's like, everyone said that you'd be late today, but I actually believed in you. Just FYI. Just like, it's a subtle way to be like, this is the shade.
Yeah.
I didn't deliver it. But people have been saying stuff about you.
But that was what made me laugh, was when she threw the bouquet, they were like, don't touch it, it's cursed. Like, crap.
Yeah, that was the only bit that felt like it was starting to be a story.
Yeah.
And then they lost that.
Also, that song, "They Can't Get Enough," I kept seeing that on TikTok before I watched the film. And the comments again, because that's the second part of the story. It was like, "No, we can get enough. We cannot allow it. Like, we can get enough." I was like, "Oh, we get it." Like with JLo songs, she just repeats the same hook over and over again to make the chorus.
Yeah.
Which is basic.
The music is, when I tell you, the music is not good.
No, it's not.
It is not good. There is one or two songs that are kind of catchy. This Is Me Now is probably one of the best song on the album.
Yeah, but when you hear it live, you're like, oh, I wasn't lying. Was she lying?
She has a random British friend who, by the way, I don't think is British, and his accent was pissing me off. Like, I feel like that was supposed to be, people will find this funny, not the Brits.
No.
I'm tired of hearing people doing bad accents, period. Let alone doing bad accents that I know how they should sound. And do you know what would be really funny? That it'd be really funny if there's like an American listening to this podcast right now and be like, you guys sound exactly like that guy. I don't get what you're complaining about. You sound exactly the same.
Yeah, but they're different.
Completely different.
No, actually, when you talk about accents, the only thing that makes me laugh in our most recent review was Saltburn, when you're like, I don't understand why Barry Keoghan could have just done his original accent.
I've brought this up to other people and they agree with me. He is just doing his normal accent in the film.
Same.
And I said, they're trying to give this film an award. For what?
And it's not getting it. It really isn't.
Well, Jacob again, we could call him Jacob Elodie. I think it's Elodie.
Oh, God.
Could Jacob, if you're going to take it out with me, come to my house.
Please.
I will be calling you what I'm calling you until I decide not to. But he was up for
What, best
supporting?
Was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
but the film was not nominated for best film.
I don't think it should be.
I mean, I just find it so weird. Like, I would feel so weird if it's like, so we're being nominated for best costume and that's it. I'll be like, take me out of that. Take me out of that, actually. No.
That's an insult.
You're disrespectful.
Yes.
Okay, my next thought was, so the other thing was, the Zodiacs would make pop culture references.
Yes, I remember them talking about like Vanderpump Rules. I'm
Yes,
like,
exactly.
This film is not going to age very well.
Why?
Yeah.
That was weird. I just didn't get it. I really liked Fat Joe's jumper at 26 minutes in. So just whoever styled that.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's...
And then the iconic line from... This is my last note, by the way. So the rest of the movie was so uninteresting that I didn't have anything else to say.
What was the thing?
The line from the trailer that made me go, oh my god, this is going to be so shit, can't wait, was, how does anybody go to sleep when their heart never sleeps? Okay, you do understand that your heart's not supposed to sleep, right? That's the only thing that stays awake.
Yeah.
You go to sleep all the time while your heart never sleeps.
Oh my god.
I couldn't. This is my
Those are all your notes.
That was all my notes. My lasting review of this was, this did not need to be made.
100%. 20 million was spent on this.
I don't know why you're making weird experimental films. You are literally a woman in your 40s, and who is such a big profile. Yeah. Why would you turn in something that shit? It just feels so weird to me. It's like half-assing your homework when you're like an A-star student. Why are you doing this?
I know, to me, I was like, oh, maybe because, J-Lo has always been known as the rom-com queen, and, that's something that she's really specialised in. Maybe she's trying to put that into her music. But again, we didn't need it. 2, it wasn't a good rom-com. It wasn't a rom-com. It wasn't a drama. It wasn't anything.
The end, she learns to choose herself.
Fantastic, but we didn't need to see that. But then Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
But to me, that also didn't make sense. And as I was watching it, I was feeling like, wouldn't it be more interesting to watch a documentary about how you guys met?
No.
Versus, and you could put some music in. Or would this be more interesting as a musical on the stage?
Maybe.
Because I think the performances, like the dance moments were really good, but I agree. This was never needed to.
Go back to what you're saying. Go back to something that's like the ethos of this this podcast. When we're done and we put together all of our best bits, this will be our number one rule for making TV. You cannot adapt your own story.
True.
That was the problem. Yeah. She's too close to it to really examine why it is she's been engaged 7 times.
Yeah.
So her thinking is, well, I'm just a hopeless romantic. And the story doesn't develop beyond there because she doesn't know anything about storytelling to know, like, well, what's the subtext?
Yeah.
What's this? What's at the heart of this? Why is it that you feel like, well, you're saying, oh, I've just always been a hopeless romantic from a kid. That didn't just come out of nowhere. If you're saying you've got a sister who she was able to sleep fine and every night you'll have a sleepless night thinking about love, something isn't
right?
Something, or and not that you have to have experienced trauma or anything like that. Maybe there was something you consumed as a kid that really, really spoke to you. You watched the fairy tale and at the end you were like, what I love so much about that is that they came together, and your sister watched it and was like, I like that she wore a dress. Like, just didn't take any of that in. But she couldn't get beyond that or below the surface. She also couldn't make fun of herself.
No.
So it was so
she was trying to, but there wasn't.
Yeah. There were points where she was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But I don't think she was making fun of herself properly. Because like you said, like, you can't... she can't get below the surface with herself.
No.
You don't really know why you love so much.
Yeah.
But you're saying that's my whole brand, which is fine and good. But the other thing I think as well is like the movie kind of feels like it was made to justify why she's such a hopeless romantic.
Very true.
It's none of our business.
No, I don't
I would
care.
have more respect for her if she was like, yeah, okay, I got engaged sometimes, and I'd get engaged sometimes more.
Yeah.
If I meet a man I like, I'm gonna. Why is this your business?
Yeah.
Because really, truly, why is it our business? And also, it must be very hard to date when you're Jennifer Lopez.
True.
I don't just mean when you're a hot woman. I mean at the point where you are now Jennifer Lopez. You're not walking in anywhere where people aren't going, isn't that Jennifer Lopez? It must be hard to find somebody genuine.
Yeah.
That would have been more interesting to explore than this thing of like, oh, the reason why I'm just unlucky in love. It's not about being unlucky in love. You're really not paying attention to any of the things that factor into being a celebrity dates.
I needed J-Lo to do everything in this movie but not put it on the movie. Like, if she wants to go to Love as Anonymous, I would have been happy if she wanted to go. We just didn't need to see it on our screens.
I don't think anyone can do an AA scene now because of the bear. As soon as she sat down in there, like, just made me think of the bear, and this is not
the bear.
The bear.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not. The acting was so. The story was even worse. The music was meh. The dancing was nice. Like, it was all. It was what it was. It wasn't a film. It was a music video. Yeah, it was a music video at most.
You didn't mean
and the music wasn't that great, and it's annoying because like there was a period, a phase where J-Lo did produce amazing music. Okay, with the help of Ashanti and Ja Rule, etc., etc. But I just, it feels a bit disappointing to have wasted so much time and money. Just $20 million was spent on this.
Listen, Amazon stays making stuff that, like, Amazon will... I can't wait for the history books in 10 years to talk about the failed strategy of Amazon as a streamer.
Yeah.
They spend an obscene amount of money on stuff that they think will lead to people subscribe. Who on this planet? And I know J-Lo has a lot of fans, so maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure they watch it.
I can't think of a single person I know who would have, if they weren't already subscribed to Prime, got a membership to watch this 1 hour. If the Fenty show can't bring people in, what makes you think?
Come on,
this was gonna bring people in.
No.
I just think that like every step of the way, what I would love is for everybody who works at Amazon to be fired and replaced by me. Like, I think I could run this place better on my own. I can run this place better while also doing the job I have now. I could spend 1 hour a day trying to figure out what our strategy is going to be in Amazon and still do a better job than what Amazon's doing.
I mean, if anything, I would just try and fix the navigation. It's absolute madness.
It is a nightmare.
I was clicking on This Is Me Now and it's taking me to the upgrade. I was like, no, I need to watch This Is Me Now. I need to watch This Is Me Now.
You go on your Amazon and they'll be like, here is a bunch of things you can watch, like one you're not subscribed to, and two you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Sorry, the first thing you should be showing me is what is included in my goddamn subscription.
It's so true. And also, I think if you have someone at Amazon, they'll be able to do a lot of story checking on these titles and these films, because one thing one thing J-Lo's film needed was a story, a deeper story. But for me,
I bet you that Jennifer Lopez came to them and said, I'm making a film, do you want it? And they went, yeah, of course. Then saw the film and were like, shit, but we're going to go back to J-Lo, so we don't, you need to do another cut. She'll just take the film somewhere else. And we don't want to lose it in case it's good. That's really what people are. Yeah, they're like, we're willing to risk 20 mil in case this J-Lo film ends up being good.
And we know it's not. I mean, it's the same way we know that Madame Web is going to be an absolute flop.
Can't wait to see it.
Are you actually going to watch it?
I think that might be one to drag me to cinema. Just I know it's going to be shit. I can turn my brain off for it.
True.
But I also don't know if I want to go all the way to the cinema to watch it.
I mean...
But also I might.
Dakota Johnson has done an interesting job of not selling this film.
Dakota Johnson is a really interesting person, because name one thing she's been in that you think she absolutely nailed.
Nothing.
She's somehow a person who is paid and is acting. Has only been in flops.
It's called nepo.
I guess 50 Shades again.
I was gonna say 50 Shades, but I haven't watched it. But nepotism, it sounds really
like. I actually like her as a personality outside of her films. Like, I think she seems like a weirdo, or it's a very self-aware. About,
100%.
Which is kind of interesting. But like, she's not a Paul to me.
No.
that's going to make me go to the... Like, someone else is in that film.
Sydney Sweeney, some other guys.
Like, I'm not being funny. At this point, Sydney
Scott,
Sweeney.
what's the guy? Scott from Parks and Rec.
Okay. Reed.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway,
was this Scott? The one that went with the other girl from Parks and Rec?
Keep going. Cause
Amy Poehler's boyfriend.
Ben Wyatt is his name in this show.
Not Ben Wyatt. He was also in that show on Apple TV, Severance.
It's Ben Wyatt.
Oh,
His character's name is Ben Wyatt.
Oh, okay.
His name is... What is his name?
Okay, he looks like...
Adam Scott.
That's it. I was like, he looks like a Scott. Adam Scott, yeah. What would you rate this film?
Girl. 1. There isn't even a big... I was going to lie and be like, oh, but the camera... Nah. Fat Joe's Jumper is why I'm giving it a 1.
I'll give it also 1.5.
I was thinking 1.5 and I thought, no.
The cameos were interesting.
I'm never going to watch this film again.
But I appreciate that it was only an hour. So
yeah, I wouldn't even call it a film.
Yeah, it was not... The music was little... The music was just there and everything else was 1.5.
It's infuriating. I'm sorry, it just makes me think when as a person who works in the industry, knowing how hard it is to sell stuff at the moment, and then you see like streamers or any commissioners making stupid decisions like that, and then turn around to you and be like, we don't have any money to make your very small show. And it's like, but you had 20 mil to give J-Lo to literally make a wanky film about herself.
It's called J-Lo. Big names will draw in crowds.
And nobody is going to subscribe to your little channel over that.
Yeah.
Whereas if you let me make my very cool show, people like, I subscribed to Prime because I wanted to watch Preacher and The Boys.
Okay.
Those are what IP. That's maybe what you guys should focus on. The Lord of the Rings sequel cost you so much money. You should double down and say, we're the home of IP.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We have money apparently to pay for IP.